Now is somebody whose name I missed because of the general hubbub around at the stadium. Of that, I know Don back in the studio said the name. It's Mick. I'm now getting it shouted at me. Mick, hello, good evening.
Hello, Freddie. How are you?
I'm all right, Mick. How are you?
I am Canny Simon. How's the boys? Mark,
We're all good, mate. All good.
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Just a quick touch on the match the weekend. It seems Eddie does have a plan B, and I tell you what it is. We looked more comfortable, resolute. I think they're bringing the midfield a little bit closer. I don't know about yourself, Steve, to that back four, because we don't have a recognised number 6 who's prepared to do that. I think we looked a lot more set. Obviously hit on the counter, and they looked more like the side we were watching last season. I don't know about what you think on that one, Steve.
Yeah, I think I kind of touched upon it on the phone call that we had earlier on in the show. You know, the pace of Willock and Murphy caused problems. Isak's always a pain. You know what you know what he's going to be. Same as Gordon. Gordon's got that pace. He's a player that he just annoys you, but it's to the benefit of Newcastle. Yeah, I thought they looked a lot more solid. As I'd said to the previous caller, I was a little bit apprehensive before the game because I thought, you know what, this could be potential banana skin, really. Not because I'm thinking it's a definite win for Newcastle and there's a team coming up here that's, you know, it would be a bit of a surprise.
Hello, Packer. How are you doing? Welcome.
The way that they were playing Wolves,
stream,
you would have thought, well, it wouldn't have kind of surprised you because they're playing really well. But I thought the performance, all in all, from Newcastle was very, very good. As I said, the manager set the team up to do a job. I think getting that early goal on 14 minutes for me, Zach, just kind of settled things down a little bit. Yeah, of course, they posed a threat now and again, without really. I think the lad has a header at close range and he heads it over. I think he could do better with that, but ultimately, I think again the lad who spoke earlier, I thought Dubravka looked solid, looked calm, looked as though he was in control, and I think that definitely helped a team anyway, just to sort of set up and build from there, which I thought they did.
I have to touch on that one actually, Steve, with Martin Dubravka. I think since he's come in, you cannot criticise him. I mean, the saves that he's. I mean, obviously,
how's it going, lads?
4-1 against Arsenal, but to be perfectly honest with you, they've been steamrolling most teams, Steve, and I think it could have been a lot more, albeit for the saves.
Ready for another thumping tonight? Yeah, really busy, mate. Good.
Yeah, I mean, he had that slip against Bournemouth, didn't he? But
yeah, aye.
I mean, you know, in all fairness, I think a lot of the Newcastle fans really liked Dubravka. Certainly when he came in, he made his debut. I think it was against Manchester United. Had a great debut.
A freebie,
I think he went from strength
to strength tonight. Because,
but then obviously, you know, you're looking at a team because you're trying to build a team and make it better. There's always somebody that the manager will look at and think, well, can I improve it in this position or that position? We've got Nick Pope in, who we all know is a very good goalkeeper, and of course Dubravka. I think he went on loan to Man United, didn't he? But a fair play to him. He's come back in. He's had a chance and he's done well.
Yeah. I was just quickly going to say, because obviously you've got the Sunderland game coming up. I've looked at the fixtures. They're running at the end of the season, and there's lots of points there for you now, Steve. There's lots of points to be grabbed up. I mean, Liverpool's, Arsenal's, City's, they're out the equation. I think we've got Man United, but do you know what it is, mate? I think the way that the confidence is getting lifted, and obviously the injuries coming back, he's got more choices from the bench. I'm maybe I'm getting cocky, but I just think I think that the match, the FA Cup matches are free here. I couldn't believe the draw, like. I couldn't believe the draw, like. But,
I know, it's typical, wasn't it?
Unbelievable, man, unbelievable. But I tell you what, in the league, you know, it's peaks and troughs, and I fancy European slot, mate. I do.
Well, they've got every chance, and as you said, you know, they're bringing people back, which is, I mean, that's what hurt Newcastle really. Was the injury list was horrendous. Yes, every team have injuries, but when I think at one point Newcastle might have been 12 or 13 players that were missing. You know, and that is difficult. Even the best teams, the really strong squads, find that difficult to cope with.
Yeah.
But I thought Newcastle, obviously they've had a couple of dodgy results, but all in all, for me personally, I still think it's been a decent season, given the fact of the injuries. But also, if you look at it in the sliding doors, you know, when you look at it, the small little things in football, i.e. the penalty against a PSG where they could have qualified,
I don't want to hear about that, Steve. I still dream about that, mate.
Yeah, well, Steve hasn't got over that. He mentions it every show, don't you, Steve? Almost.
I
can see why.
90th minute.
I think that's got to be the biggest howler, decision-wise, this season in European football, not just in English football, because you think of the consequences we could have went through.
Yeah. I mean, imagine how different the season could have been. It might have made the Premier League a bit tougher if they had the extra games with all the injuries. But
Steve.
Mick, listen, thank you for coming on. Thanks for your call. Good to talk to you. Thanks for coming on this evening. Our number's 0800 234 6565. If you're quick, you might yet get on. This one says, what do you think of the new format of the Champions League next season? We're not going to go there tonight. I'm sure we will talk. We have talked about it in the past, and it's pretty ridiculous, isn't it? And complex, overly complicated. This one says, is it me? It's from Billy and Jarrow. Is it me? Does Anthony Gordon look like he is even thinner and fitter than he was? I mean, he's always been fit, and he you know, through the season, he struck me as somebody, because I think he didn't really get a break last summer, did he? But he played all the way through. So he started he started the season absolutely flying, and he's kind of kept going, and he's one of these players that in terms of, you know, if you were to line up every player in the Premier League in terms of their kind of lung capacity, physical fitness, he'd be right up there at the top of that list, wouldn't he?
Do you know the daft thing is, you know, I think he's been very, very consistent for Newcastle this season overall, and yet it's very, very rare he gets mentioned about being in the Euro squad.
Yes.
And I think that's a little bit harsh.
Yeah, and I wonder if that could yet change between now and the end of the season. Possibly. This one says, if Steve wants to auction off some clothes, what about his Grinch suit?
Grinch suit?
Think he has one.
I don't have one, no.
You adopt the personality.
I know what he's aiming at.
The attire.
I know what he's aiming at, but it's just when people make stupid comments that I get become grinchy. Yeah, so it's kind of had its effect then, I suppose, that particular comment. Yeah, lots of Sunderland fans as well having their say ahead of the match. There are some on the Sunderland page on the BBC Sport website as well. Best way to find that, go to the league table, the Championship League table, click on Sunderland, and you can find all the very latest from Sunderland Football Club. Jeff says Leicester have had a blip lately, but our form is no better than theirs. If they score early, our youngsters could crumble and we could see a rout. I'm saying 2-0 to Leicester. And yeah, plenty more coming in as well, which I'll come to very shortly. The time now is 16 minutes past 7.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
The iconic shirt that Colin Firth wore as Mr. Darcy in this scene.
Mr. Darcy?
Miss Bennett.
I did not expect to see you.
Is going up for auction today. So I wanted to know, what's your iconic piece of clothing that you would auction off? John in concert.
I had some Union Jack socks. I worked in Guernsey as a bus driver, and the Queen was visiting. As I got off the bus, the Queen drove past and slowed right down, so she looked at me and gave us a dirty look as if off with his head. How dare you step in front of my car? I should get $500,000 for this.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And this is Total Sport on BBC Radio Newcastle with me, Simon Pride, Steve Howie, the former Newcastle and England centre-half, Marco Gabbiadini, ex-Sunderland striker. Now, Steve Howard is from County Durham. He had a fantastic career as a striker, which included 4 years at Leicester City. He's now the new director of football at Blythe Spartans, and tonight, he's a busy man, he's also working for our colleagues at BBC Radio Leicester. He's taken a couple of minutes to join us, which we appreciate. Hello, Steve.
Good evening.
Thanks very much. I know there's a pre-recorded tape on of 6 minutes. You've got that before you have to go back to Radio
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
So we're on the clock a little bit. Do you ever come across Steve and Marco during your career? Probably
yes, I did. Yeah, Marco, I was at Northampton with him. We played up front together. And Steve, I've known for years. To his brother Lee, Yeah, I know them well.
What was Marco like as a strike partner then?
He was horrendous.
Greedy.
He was brilliant. He never passed, so no, he was great to play against. Mark was just experienced, just to help me through the ups and downs.
Listen, Steve, new role for you. How's it going at Blythe? Early days, obviously.
Weird, strange, but it's I'm enjoying it. It's one of them where I just thought, asked to do it. I thought, you know what, why not? So I'm just finding my feet at the moment, but it's all good.
It's obviously a long-term project, isn't it?
Oh, it's a huge, it's like a 5-year project the chairman's got, so it's just nice to be a part of it because he's got some fantastic plans and everywhere, all over Blythe there's a real buzz, which is fantastic.
And I think one word that people keep mentioning when they're talking about what might happen is potential. I mean, in terms of a non-league club, a club at their level, people wonder just how far Blythe Spartans could go with the right leadership.
No, absolutely. It's a huge non-league club. It always has been. When the boys played or when I played, everybody knew about Blythe Spartans. So it's one of them where there was an opportunity there, and I just advised the chairman. He said, "Shall I buy it?" I went, "Yeah, go and buy it." And then he says, "You'll have to help us." And I went, "No, I'll try."
And what sort of response have you had so far from the people of Blythe?
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic. The buzz around Blythe is phenomenal, which we didn't really expect that, but it's just continuing, and everybody's turning out to watch the games, which is great for the town of Blythe.
Quick word about the game ahead tonight, as well as the Leicester and Sunderland players go through their warm-up routines on the Stadium of Light pitch in front of us. As far as Leicester are concerned, I mean, I know they've had a little bit of a blip, as we've already discussed. But
hi guys, sorry the
Wife
was just on the phone.
In terms of promotion, it's going to be a tough task for Sunderland tonight, isn't it?
It is, yes, but obviously, there's two teams here we're lacking in form. But
I don't think we'll go down. Honestly, I think
the business end of the season for Leicester, trying to do trying to get that over the line. But obviously, it's going to be tough for Sunderland tonight because I think there's going to be a bit of comeback from Leicester to say, we need to get back to winning ways.
In terms of, I mean, you're
it's not comfortable.
County Durham lad, you started Town Road, didn't you? I mean, I don't know what your allegiances were.
I'm Newcastle United, so it was that. Sorry, Gabbers.
Gordon Seymour, sorry with the text computer.
And obviously you follow your former clubs closely, Leicester being one of them. What does Sunderland need to do if they are to try and stop them tonight?
I was at the game, the QPR game on Saturday, and they were just, QPR just bided the time, said, come and break us down. And Leicester couldn't do that, and I think that's what Sunderland have to do. You have to be resilient and patient, and then try and hit them on the counter-attack, because I know full well Leicester will win this game.
Yes. Quick word about one of your other former clubs as well in Luton. I'm sure you're watching them with interest in the Premier League this season. I mean, they're making a fine fist. I mean, I think they're everyone's favourites to probably finish bottom. But they're out of the promoted sides, they're making the best fist of attempting to stay up. It would be great if they could.
Oh, it'd be amazing, for a club like Luton. I mean, to get promoted was amazing, and the journey they've been on was just absolutely amazing. I mean, you talk about places buzzing. I mean, Luton is just. Nobody expected them to do anything in the Premiership, and they're holding their own. So it's fantastic to see.
I'm conscious of the clock. It would be great to get you in the studio at some point, though, Steve, and have a longer chat if you're up for that.
I'm up for that.
We'll arrange that.
With the two boys.
Yeah, indeed. So we've got John Anderson and Gary Bennett also.
Newcastle pundit now, though. Now we know what
Hey, I don't mind. I'll sit next to Steve. Don't worry about it.
Well, you can just come in as a general guest. It would be fantastic to get you in. But I'm conscious of the clock. I know you've got to go back to the desk over there and rejoin your colleagues at BBC Radio Leicester, Steve. But thank you very much indeed for coming on the programme this evening. That's Steve Howard, formerly of Leicester City, Luton Town, a few other clubs besides, including Hartlepool United, and now the Director of Football at Blythe Spartans as well, and thoroughly relishing, as you've heard there, the project that he has on his hands. Just got time, I think, for I think it's Dave who's on the line, Sunderland supporter, to have a quick chat to him. Evening, Dave.
Good evening, everybody. All right.
Hello, Dave.
How are you feeling about tonight's game, Dave?
Oh, listen to Marco's comment after the defeat last night on Saturday in summing up, and I think we're about right, really. We both share the same. Well, everyone, Sunderland fan knows where we are, because we can't score goals, and you wonder who's going to score tonight, Marco. That's the only problem I have. I just
imagine Rick grabbing a couple of goals and assists. Well, I tell you what, Elliot Anderson, welcome, mate. He's capable of doing it.
Come on.
Just look at Southampton. Remember Southampton
I think
at the beginning of the season? when we destroyed them?
Ring my bell anyway. I know he's only young and that, but we just have got nobody really who can score a goal. You know, basically.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really exciting us. Really, you know, Rusin. At least Rusin he puts himself about a little bit, but you know, it's still lacking that little bit of something special, that bit of edge, that, you know, a player who
seems
can.
A long way down, a long way
you don't
back
have to play one as well as a centre forward. You can, you know. I've come off with a man of the match after scoring 2 in the last 5 minutes when I've been absolutely shocking. That's part of being a striker, that you have to just take your chances.
Hello, mate. Welcome.
We had chances on Saturday, and there's nobody there to take them. And
how are you doing? Have you had a good week so far?
You know, I don't know if you were listening to what Steve Howard just said there about Leicester as well. You know, that the teams who've bothered them have sort of sat back and soaked it up. I don't think we've got that in our locker either, to be honest.
Well, without Clark as well, he comes back to the halfway line many times, doesn't he? He picks the ball up and carries it for us. You know, that's another thing we missed, haven't we, Marco? You know.
It is, yeah.
So I think it's going to be a real struggle to get anything. And tonight, now, if you said to me a point tonight, I'm not very much for it. I would, you know, because let's face it, I can't see us. We're not going to get in the playoffs. Let's be realistic. I know. I agree with you. You know, we just haven't got that firepower to score the goals and get us up there.
And it's a big ask now. The gap's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. I'm more concerned about not losing too many games and getting relegated the way things are going. If the bottom teams like QPR them keep winning, and Sheffield Wednesday picked a few points up lately.
I think we'll be okay.
I hope so.
I think, you know, we will get some results. You know, I think there's.
I hope we get 50 odd points at least, just to see us in that, you know, like safe. Because it's worrying though, isn't it, Marco, from being with. That few weeks of just dropping. I mean, the start of the season, our goal difference was really good, wasn't it? You know, the first half of the season, it's just gone down and down and down. Even the defence is letting sloppy goals, and you know, it's like a cancer that's spread through the team at the moment, isn't it? There, you know.
Well, and you know, that's what happens when you get rid of a manager who's popular. It just
work. Let's have it tonight.
Dave,
the more it goes on, the more bizarre it looks, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah.
You never know what might happen tonight, Dave. So yes, as I keep saying, as everyone keeps saying, keep the faith and hope for the best. Thank you very much indeed for coming on this evening, Steve. Thank you very much indeed as well. Looking forward to talking to you again next week.
Enjoy tonight,
Marco. I'll have a bit of a chat with you at half-time, and you can give your assessment of the first 45 minutes, if that's okay with you. Thank you very much indeed. If you want to keep the messages coming in as well through the first half and the second half as well, because obviously we're on at the end too, 08000 321 333, and you can text, that's WhatsApp, and text 81333, in either case starting your messages with the letters BBC. The crowds that are starting to form here at the upper level in the West Stand at Sunderland, they parted as the man who is now Personality of the Year, to go with his Freeman of the City honorary degree, MBE, arrived, Gary Bennett, and he, alongside our Sunderland commentator Nick Barnes, will take you up to tonight's 7:45 kickoff next.
This week,
Six Music Festival is back in Greater Manchester
with an incredible lineup of artists and DJs beyond the mainstream.
And we've got archive sets and music mixes to get you in the mood, like Rave Forever,
the morning after mix,
and Indie Forever. Search Six Music Festival. Watch on iPlayer, listen on BBC Sounds.
Total Sport Northeast.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Thank you, Friday back tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, of course, when we'll be reflecting on what is going to happen over the next few hours here at the Stadium of Light. 2 changes for Sunderland, 4 changes for Leicester City tonight. Sunderland, Patterson in goal. The assumption is it's a 3 at the back. Sealt, Ballard back in, O'Nien. 5 across the middle, Hume, Neal, Ekwa, Rigg, Hjelde, and then Job playing behind Hamir, who starts again tonight for Sunderland. O'Nien's on 9 yellows, Hume's on 9 yellows, and that means they've got to get through today and the weekend to be clear of a 2-match suspension. The bench, Bishop, Pembele, Burstow, Mundle, Rusin, Barr, Aushish, Styles and Kelly. So Chris Rigg then, 16 years old, making his first league start for Sunderland tonight landmark for him. Leicester
Just to let
City,
you guys know,
Mads Hermansen in goal, 3 at the back, Wout Faes, Connor Cody and Callum Doyle, who's back in the squad after injury. This is his 11th start of the season. In front of the back 3, Hamza Chowdhury and Harry Winks. Midfielder for Tawo, Abdul Fatawu, who's on loan from Sporting Lisbon, the Ghanaian international. And then Yunus Akgun, a Turkish international on loan from Galatasaray. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, and then wide Steffi Mavididi, with up front tonight Jamie Vardy. The bench for Leicester: Stolacek, Justin Albrighton, Iheanako, Suter, Daka, Ndidi, Marsal and Nelson. Let's hear the thoughts ahead of the game of the Sunderland interim head coach Mike Dods.
Mike, to loosely quote Star Trek, you boldly went on Saturday, where no manager's been since the start of the season, and started Hamir. Is that sort of, in one sense, the conundrum you've got? I mean, we keep coming back to the forwards. You've tried Hamir, Rusin. Are you sort of half tempted to say, right, let's just go with one and just give them a run of games and see if we can crack this problem?
Yeah, it's a really good question. That's something we've definitely discussed internally as staff, with the coaching staff.
Oh, Vid 73, how are you doing, mate?
I think obviously we changed slightly in terms of our in-possession stuff in the game, and I just felt that we needed a focal point in the game to play off and onto, so hence the reason why we went with Hamir. And in the main, I felt he did okay. I think he could have had a little bit more service. I felt we started the first 15 minutes of the game where our quality with the ball could have been better, and once we settled into the game, we had pockets of play where we looked comfortable in possession but without really damaging them. And I just felt in terms of the way we set up, we needed a focal point. And to be fair to Hamir, he's working really hard. He's working really, really hard, and I think if I see the players on the training pitch are all in, they're all in for the football club, then they'll get an opportunity, and Hamir's done that. So
good evening, fella. Yeah, happy you know Rick starting.
You're not helped because you've not got Jack Clark, and you've had Dan Ballard missing for a couple of games, so you're sort of sticking plasters in a sense in the team. Callum Starr's another player that's come in, and Michael Beale, when he was here, said he was a left back, left wing back. Callum says he prefers to play as number 10, played as a right winger. I mean, where do you see Callum fitting in to the system?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you spotted this, the plasters bit. We're still getting to know Callum a little bit, I'll be honest with you. He's a lovely technician, he's got lovely technique. I think when he was at Barnsley, he literally played so many positions. He did play at left back, he played left wing back, he played as an 8. He went on loan to Millwall last season and played predominantly the time down the left hand side. We utilised him off the right type, but it was more kind of a narrow right position, both in and out of possession because of some of the threats that Norwich had with the ball, and we also felt that he could, when we had the ball, he could pick up some dangerous positions. And I think the pleasing thing from the game, we did actually get him the ball in those positions at times, not frequently enough, but what we worked on, I did see pockets of those types of things. So to answer your question, Callum, fortunately or unfortunately, is one of those players that is really quite versatile, and I think for a coach, people like that are worth their weight in gold, because you can slot him into different positions on the pitch, and he seems like a great kid. He asks lots of questions. He's fitted into the group really, really well. So to answer your question, right now I don't know what his best position is, if I'm being brutally honest. I know where he's played previously, and the answer to your question is he's played so many positions. We've got to try and find the best position to utilise him.
I mean, there has been so much focus on the fact that Jack Clark's been out, but I think we often perhaps overlook the importance that Dan Ballard's played this season, so there must be a huge relief for you to have him available again. Yeah,
I mean in particular the first game that I took, I think glaringly obvious how important he was to us.
I just think the weak links is.
And I think it was important as well. Obviously
squad.
Dan during international breaks obviously goes away with his country, and he's robust. He plays a lot of games for us. He trains every day. So we gave him a few days just to kind of, not just mentally, really more than anything, to kind of refresh himself. And I have to admit, the last kind of 7 to 10 days, he's
Jennifer
been,
Andrews, hello, how are you doing this evening? From Malta, greetings,
like signing a new
Malta,
player, really.
from us in the United Kingdom, or from myself in the United Kingdom.
Really looking forward for him to be back in the squad, the team. And I think, like you said, to reiterate your point, I think what he has done is shown how important he is to us. I said previously, when the last time I took the team, Nick, that I felt he was one of the best defenders in the league, and I think all that's done, not having him in the team, has cemented that kind of statement.
And now you've got a Leicester team who, well, the old adage is it's a good time to play them because they've lost their last 3 league games. It's hard to say. I mean, have you watched those games with a hope that you can find out what the key was for the opposition to win those games, if you see what I mean?
Listen, we watch loads of opposition games, and they're really clear in terms of the way they want to play. They're very
the Rotherhams and the and the Huddersfields and stuff, that
in terms of how
really
they want to play. I
fans.
don't see them
us,
changing
course,
for us, and I don't see them changing for anyone in the league, if I'm being completely honest. The coach is very thorough and very forthright in the way he wants to play, and they're top of the league for a reason. Is there ever a good team to play? Is there ever a good time to play a Leicester team that have got the quality that they've got in depth? Even coming off the bench. I don't know. I expect they're going to make some changes. Having watched their last 3 or 4 games, I would think they're going to make some changes. Where that will be, obviously we'll find out tomorrow evening. But my prediction would be that they would probably make some changes and try and freshen 1 or 2 things up.
It's clearly not going to be an easy game, and you're in a position now where you've lost 4 on the bounce. Is there a point at which that starts to play on the mentality, the psychology of the game, because you can't escape the fact that you don't want to lose 5 on the bounce and then become 6 on the bounce?
Not really from my perspective, and I think when you start going down that route, you start to create doubt within the players in terms of the game plan and executing the game plan. So from my perspective, not really, no. One thing I will say is, we're fully aware in terms of we haven't won for 4 games, and that, I'm completely clear on that. But in terms of the training ground feeling, in terms of the intensity and focus, you wouldn't feel that on the players, which I want to make really clear that that's a massive positive. That's not them being flippant or not underestimating the situation.
I'm seeing
not that, but
4-0
we've had a really good training session out there. I said to one of the staff, I said, like,
contract cleaners will just wipe the floor.
You wouldn't know they've lost 4 on the bounce. They're vibrant, they're at it, they're asking all the right questions. So I understand what it looks like in terms of when you look at the hard facts, the black and white, in terms of that win or loss. But when you're in here every single day, I don't feel, if I'm being honest, I don't feel that level of, whether you want to call it pressure or that burden.
Steads, hello,
and my
evening,
mentality,
mate.
like
Thank
I said,
you for these streams. I didn't find the match company. Yeah, I do them all.
When the club asked me to take the role, was I want to try and win every single game.
When the match about to start,
and sometimes that will work, sometimes that won't work, but that's the kind of arena that I'm sitting in.
Like I say, I will
you mentioned Leicester making changes. You've had a rigorous trip to Norwich for a lot of reasons, weather, travel. I assume you are looking to make changes yourself.
This game and the next game we've got to utilise the squad.
I will be back. You're going for 2-2,
yeah? Fine balance between
I'll take that. I'll take the point all day long.
Freshening certain areas up and trying to have a level of consistency, because we want to try and get into a flow and a rhythm of the way we want to work. So it's just trying to find that balance between freshening things up to make sure that we're right at it in terms of how we want to set up, but also not making it clunky and disjointing what we're trying to do. So yeah, the next 2 games, of course, there'll be changes. You know, I said that earlier in the week. We're going to have to utilise the whole squad. So yeah, we'll see how tomorrow night goes, and then obviously on to Saturday, where I'm sure there will be again 1 or 2 tweaks.
And bearing in mind that all the injuries and so on, are you mindful of the yellow card amnesty, that you've got a couple of players on 9 yellow cards? The last thing you really want now is to, in the last couple of games before that amnesty, to lose 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah, there is. Again, it goes back to my point. It's a really fine balance between, we've got to win games of football. So, with the nicest possible way, I'm not going to protect one of those players.
I will be very happy with a point.
On 9 yellow cards for the sake of the result, because ultimately we've got to turn the tide a little bit in terms of
why isn't
the result. So that the result for me is the first and foremost thing that comes to my head. But yeah, we have spoke about it internally. Obviously, we've got a couple of boys that are close to that dreaded 10th yellow card, but there's nothing we can do about that.
Total Sport North East.
Live from the Stadium of Light.
Joe's on the bench as well, and Didi, Daka is on the bench, so they've got,
Queen's Park Rangers last time out. But again, from what I gather, Queen's Park Rangers under their new Swedish coach are a different proposition now.
Yeah, definitely so. And, you look at their team, and, the one player who stands out for me is Dewsbury Hall. I think he's a quality player, and he'll get onto things and he'll try to make things happen.
Sonny Singill is the referee tonight, all in black, leads the teams out. He was last in charge. In fact, the only game he's been in charge of as Sunderland this season was at Hull on Boxing Day, when Sunderland won 1-0. What would you give for a repeat of that scoreline tonight against the Leicester side, who, when Sunderland played them earlier in the season, the Leicester fans on the night said Sunderland had been the best team they'd seen at Leicester this season, and they were very unlucky not to get something from the game.
They did indeed. It was a very, very good game, and but we're reflecting back on that game, and you've got to say it was such a long time ago, and you've like got to say there's a big difference between when we played Leicester then to where we are now.
I'm just going to actually, when you mention that, flick back and have a look at the team that played against Leicester that night. It was a back four of Hume, Ballard, O'Nien and Huggins, Neil and Ekwa, Roberts, Jove and Clark across the middle. And do you remember who started the game up front?
Up front.
Burstow, yeah. Hamir came on in the 94th minute for Dan Neal. Pritchard came on for Jobe in the 74th minute. Burstow, surprise, surprise, was taken off in the 64th minute and replaced by Barr. And it was Barr and, as it happens, Dennis Serkin, who came on as a substitute, who came closest to scoring late on, when they both put shots over the bar.
Yeah, over the bar.
So, the two key players from that team, you could argue, that are missing are Roberts and Clark. Jobe still plays, Ekwa, Neil, Ballard, O'Nien. They're not wholesale changes. And in one sense, you've got to try and take, might be clutching at straws, but take some positivity out of that fact.
Yeah, but I just think that, I'm just looking at the way they've set up, and yeah, Silton's playing as a centre back. You've got Ballard. Is that Ballard in the middle?
It is. And Hjelde is out on the...
Hjelde is playing as a left.
Yeah, left wing back. O'Nien's dropped back into the three.
What we said.
So it's as we thought it would be.
Yeah.
Silt, Ballard and O'Nien. Hume right wing, Hjelde left wing. Rigg at the moment just standing off Hamir. It's Leicester who are going to get the game underway. They're all in blue. Sunderland in their red and white, defending the north end of the stadium in the first half. Leicester defending the Roker end. Their goalkeeper Mads Hermansson, the Dane, is all in light green. Anthony Patterson at the other end is in yellow tonight, and Sonny Singil gets the game underway. The ball pushed back into the centre of the Leicester defence. Interestingly, the Leicester defence line up as 3, 4 and 5. How rare is that in modern day football? 3 is Feist, 4 is Cody, and 5 is Callum Doyle, 20 years old now, believe it or not.
He's getting on.
He is, and highly spoken of in the few games that he's played for Leicester City. This is only his 11th start, but he was injured. Neil trying to get forward, the ball won back here, wide on the right by Chowdhury, back to Wout Feist, and the Belgian international strolling out into midfield, and pauses, draws Eckwood to him, and then plays the ball across to Conor Cody, who was a much heralded signing when he left Wolves for Leicester, the former Liverpool centre-back, but he's not getting probably the games that he thought he would get, Conor Cody. It comes back to him, and he rolls it across to Hermansson, the Leicester goalkeeper. Out wide to Feist, back to Hermansson, and Hamir is on his own up in the middle in the Leicester half. Hermansson strolled out, and he's closed down by Hamir. Plays it wide then to Feist, inside to Vardy. Vardy takes it wide, trying to get it to Fatawa, but it's come back now to Job, who slips, he's fouled, and it's a free kick, foul by Hamza Chowdhury. This on the left of central midfield inside the Sunderland half. Even though Fatawa was standing on the ball virtually, O'Nien takes the free kick, gets it out to Hjelde. Hjelde's trying to get down the left wing and doing okay, gets to the corner, then stumbles with Fatawa. The ball goes out behind, and it's a goal kick.
Good run.
Well, he was strong there. He held off the Ghanaian. 19 years old, Abdul Fatawa, who has already got 15 caps for Ghana, and he's on loan from Sporting Lisbon. The ball dropped by the goalkeeper to Conor Cody.
And one thing which Leicester are very, very good at is counter-attack. You know, they want to be 1v1 situation.
Yeah, they've got wide up front is Mavididi, who you spoke about in the build-up. He's made a dart across the middle. The ball is played out, though, to Feist by Hermansson. And next weekend, Saturday, they're at Hull, Leicester, so they'll look at this game as an important one to get back into the winning way of things. Leicester, away from home, they've won 12, drawn 2, lost 3, so it's still a very impressive record. And out to the right again to Feist, forwards to Dewsbury Hall. It was pushed in the back. In fact, or was it Akgun? Was it? Yeah, I think actually it was Akgun who got a shove in the back, the Turkish international. Yunus Akgun on loan from Galatasaray. Back it comes to Feist. Played up through the middle, swept through here by Dewsbury Hall for Vardy, who's trying to get it out to Fatawu, and Hjelde had to smash it forwards down the left wing. As Neil now gets it onto Joe, back to Neil, showed a bit too much of it to Feist, finds Dewsbury Hall just inside the Sunderland half, and it's played back into the centre to Conor Cody. And again, going through the middle, Harry Winks, out to Chowdhury. Chowdhury looking for the run of Vardy on the shoulder of Ballard, it spins past him, and out comes Patterson, slides out, grabs the ball, and Vardy jogs to the edge of the D, and it's passed by Patterson to Luke O'Nien. It's the first visit here since December 2016, when Leicester lost 2-1, and they were then the Premier League champions, of course. They've only won, and I'm hoping this is a good sign as well, they've only won 1 of their last 9 visits, drawn 4 and lost 4 here, Leicester, so that hopefully bodes well. Gateshead are playing Solihull Moors tonight. I think they've taken the lead. And Gateshead 1, Solihull Moors 0. Here's Sealt wide right in front of Mike Dods. Back to Dan Ballard, across to Luke O'Nien, closed down by the Turk at gun. It's swept long. Silt's trying to get around offside. Offside Silt. Mavadidi. And in fact, the flag's probably come up to help him because he lost his footing. Coventry 1, Rotherham 0 in the games that are being played tonight. Sunderland's opponents at the weekend, Southampton, play tomorrow night home to Preston. Away comes Harry Winks, gets the ball through to Atgun, who plays it out to Fatawu at the edge of the penalty area. Back to Atgun, out again to Fatawu, who crosses low. And Ballard gets his foot to it, and at the second attempt gets it clear. Comes back through to Connor Cody. Ellis Sims scoring the Coventry goal. Rolled out by the keeper to Doyle. On to Dewsbury Hall. Back to Callum Doyle. Lifts it up to the halfway line. Again, it comes back up towards Hamir. Gets his head on it, but it drops here back from Cody to Hermanson, the keeper, who smashes it high in the air, up into the Sunderland half, off the head of O'Nien. Whistle's gone, offside. Free kick to Sunderland. We're 7 minutes into the game. Sunderland 0, Leicester City 0. Ballard takes the free kick to O'Nien. Forwards to Dan Neal. Neal then taking this on, still going. He's ridden 2 challenges. It gets it to Job. Job with Atgun on his shoulder. Job still going, a couple of step overs, rolls it back though into the path of Fatawu, and he's taken out by Helder. Free kick on the touchline on the halfway mark of the Leicester half on the right hand side. There's Hamza Chowdhury to take it. Born in Loughborough, so very much a Leicestershire lad. Plays it back to Feiss, the former Reims centre half. Of course, Reims, where Will Still is the coach. Now with Hamir inside to Ekwa, back to Rigg. He's overhit the pass for Hamir, and it's out for a throw on the Leicester left for Leicester City. And Callum Doyle is going to take that throw for the Foxes, and he's halfway inside his own half at this Roker end. It's dropped down the touchline and out for a throw again, but this time to Sunderland, and Silt comes to take this as Mike Dods out on the touchline barking instructions to Job and Rigg, and Silt here on the right hand side is going to take this throw, then just a yard or 2 down from the halfway line, looking for Hamir, off his chest to Mavadidi, and Vardy tries a little flick for Mavadidi, who sweeps it past Ballard into the penalty area. Mavadidi goes, squares it, and it's cut out by O'Nien, and that would have been an opening goal if he'd not done that, because coming in on the far side was Fatawu, and Vardy was just behind O'Nien as well. That was a great interception.
And that's what we was talking about, Nick. You know, quick. The 2 wide players are so quick that they want to be 1v1s. And you've got to say that was a great opportunity for Leicester to take the lead.
Yeah, 1-0. So
I'm glad that he overhit it.
It's with Hermanson. Played it out to Winks at the edge of the area. Rigg goes to close down, slides in. Great roar from the crowd at the effort made by Chris Rigg. It's played through to Dewsbury Hall in the centre circle. He's trying to lose Hume. It's out then on the left-hand side to Mavadidi. He's skipped past Silt, gets back up on his feet after tripped. And now back to Doyle, inside to Winks, and Winks in the middle of the Sunderland half to Feiss. And Feiss now looking to get it forwards, place it out wide to Fatawu, and Fatawu back to Chowdhury. Chowdhury into the centre circle, and Connor Cody plays it back to Chowdhury, out wide to Feiss, and Feiss down the line to Fatawu. He's gone round Hjelde, low ball played in, and Ballard smashes it into the head of O'Nien. It comes out to Ekwa, now to Job on the left hand side. Chowdhury goes to cut across the face of Job, gets the ball off him. That was very simple actually, and played it inside to Winks, and Winks now on halfway, lays it off to Chowdhury, plays it back to Cody here, and Cody out to the left to Doyle. Doyle has Mavididi down the line, but he's looking for the run here of Dewsbury Hall. He gets in past Sealt, pulls it back here, and Vardy. What a save by Patterson, and it's a save again from Atgun by the feet of Patterson. They can't believe they haven't scored. A double save, a fantastic double save from Patterson.
Fantastic. Great play, but again, Nick, you've seen that ball slip down the side, a little bit of pace, and he's away.
Yeah.
In fact, they've got so many options. It's unbelievable. But I tell you what, Patterson, take a bow.
Very
great
much
double
so.
save.
It looked like a guaranteed goal there. It looked like they were definitely going to score. But Patterson saving both. It's still 0-0.
The thing is, and we've talked about this on Saturday, Nick, in regards of playing out from the back, you know, we've got to find another option. Sometimes you've got to go long.
Yeah. On halfway, the ball nodded back by Winks to Doyle, played inside to Feist. He turns and heads forwards. It looks like David Luiz, doesn't he, with his hair? And he comes back and plays it to Connor Cody, down the left to Callum Doyle. I mean, you forget how big a lad he is, Callum Doyle. 6'1", but he looks a giant down there. Here's on the right-hand side, Hume taps it inside to Ekwa, back to the edge of the Sunderland penalty area, and Ballard plays it across the face of Vardy to O'Neill, out now to Dan Neil. Neil cutting into the middle, swinging the ball out wide right here. Great ball out to Sealt. Brings it down in front of Enzo Maresca, but plays it the wrong side of Chris Rigg as he made a run through, and picked up by Cody and flicked back to Feist in the middle and out wide on the left here to Doyle. Forwards to Mavididi, he's dug it out again. He's gone round Ballard. Mavididi trying to find Vardy in the penalty area on the left here. It's played back into the 6-yard box and put out for a throw by Luke O'Neill. It's a real threat, that break they keep making. Doyle with the throw.
You know, we spoke about him, the pace.
He's got it, hasn't he? Doyle drives the ball in, it comes off Rigg, goes behind for a corner to Leicester. It's the first corner of the evening. We're in the 13th minute, Sunderland 0, Leicester City 0, if you're just joining us on BBC Radio Newcastle.
Give the handball money.
Oh, they've given the free kick, haven't they, for the handball, yeah.
This is where they can be dangerous as well.
Dewsbury Hall will take the free kick. It's roughly halfway between the touchline and the edge of the 18-yard box. And Dewsbury Hall then, with his left, dinks it to the back of the 6-yard box. Another great save, and then Vardy scores. Save from the initial header by Feist, but Vardy followed up with a header, and there was nothing Patterson could do about it. And in the 13th minute, Jamie Vardy gives Leicester City the lead.
We just talked about, I said Faz, he scored a few goals this season, a couple of goals this season. He's strong in the air. You've got to make sure he doesn't get a free header. It's a fantastic save by Patterson, but again, slow to react.
Yeah.
But Nick, that goal was coming.
Yes, it was.
You know, don't be surprised about that. That goal was coming. We could have easily been 2 or 3 down already. What they've got to do, they've got to show a bit of character now.
They do. We've talked about how it would have to be Sunderland scoring first. Well, it's Leicester who scored first, and it's Jamie Vardy with his 11th league goal of the season, his 13th goal in total this season, who have given Leicester the lead.
And you've mentioned, Nick, that he's 37.
Yes.
And when you're that age, what do you bring to the table?
Experience.
Experience. That's what you bring to the table. You know, he's the first one to react. He knows where the ball's going to drop. That's experience.
And Leicester now, who are looking to halt this run of 3 league defeats, will be energised by taking the early lead. And then, you know, there's sort of a parallel here, because when they took the lead at Leicester early in the season, it was in the 12th minute. James Justin scoring again in the 6-yard box, a header. It's almost replicating what they did to Sunderland at Leicester tonight here at the Stadium of Light.
You do your homework, Nick, you know, and you're thinking the opportunity you'll get is from set pieces.
Well, Doyle's put a ball into the box and Ballard heads it over the bar for a corner, Vardy would have been on the end of that, on the penalty spot. Terrific ball in from Callum Doyle, but it's put behind for the first corner now.
Second corner. No, sorry.
First, because we thought it was the first. It ended up being a free kick. They scored from that set piece. They've now got another set piece.
And again, the likes of Doyle, Cody, Bears is up there. You know, who's marking him? You've got to make it difficult for him.
Across goes Mavadidi to take the corner kick. Dewsbury Hall is across there as well. It's just tapped to Dewsbury Hall, who turns inside towards the edge of the penalty area, plays it back behind it to Mavadidi, who lays it off again to Dewsbury Hall, who crosses, looking for Cody.
Well done.
But Patterson's plucked it out of the air.
It's a waste of time trying to get it forward as quickly as possible because we haven't got anybody up there.
No. Paul Patterson made a double save, then he made another save, but only to see the ball fall to Vardy, who headed home the opening goal. Here's Equa through to Chris Rigg. Rigg rolls it to Dan Neal, and Dan Neal now at the edge of the centre circle, into the centre circle to Equa to his right, and then out to Sealt on the right hand side, back to Ballard, through to Neal, who's surely hauled down by Yunus Atgun. Again, he stands right on the ball in front of Dan Neal, but he took the free kick, and it's played out wide to Kjelder. He's given the ball away here to Atgun. Behind him is Fatawu, back to Chowdhury. Winks in the middle for Leicester.
I'll tell you what they have got, Nick. Leicester City have got players who are willing to run beyond. Look, just make runs.
Work in the state again. It's experience.
Yeah, you know, they've got players who want to run the channel, get behind defences. They've done that on 3 or 4 occasions and got in. We haven't.
Starting to dominate play at the moment, Leicester, in the first half. In the 17th minute, leading 1-0. Doyle with a throw halfway inside the Sunderland half, drops to Dewsbury Hall, tried to get it to Vardy. Ballard comes back, plays it back to Anthony Patterson, and Patterson still with the ball at his feet. He's got Onai on one side of him, Ballard the other, and he rolls it forwards from the underside of his boot, and then plays it out on the left-hand side to Dan Neal, who plays it back to Luke O'Nien, back again to Patterson. I want to try and get on the front foot here, but it's a long one now, played through the middle, looking for Hume. A stab at it though from Doyle, takes it away, and Mavadidi's got it on the left here now, and plays it straight to Pierre Equa. Now to Chris Rigg. Rigg to Hume. Hume back onto the halfway line to Sealt, who plays it inside to Equa. Equa then to O'Nien, and O'Nien takes us into the Leicester half. Out wide on the left is Kjelder. He flicks on a good ball here now to Luke O'Nien. It's a block. He's still got the ball though, and he's tackled on the goal line.
Great tackle.
And it's a corner kick to Sunderland. Good run though.
Yeah, great run.
Nearly got in, Luke O'Nien.
But you just mentioned it's Luke O'Nien's nearly got in. He's the centre back.
I know. I know. Well, it wasn't lost on me. I thought that was, you know, you're going to pick up on that. What's he doing up there in that position? Oh, if that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Equa will take the corner on the left-hand side, drives us in, curls in here, headed away, only to the edge of the area. Rigg puts it back down to Equa on the left, drives the ball in, Chowdhury puts it out, Rigg gives chase as Leicester urged by the back players to push out. Back to Hume in the centre circle, finds Dan Neal on the right of midfield, drives the ball into the box again, onto the chest of Jobe, comes down to Feist, out to Dewsbury Hall, he squares it to Doyle, who looks for Mavadidi, but it's knocked away to Sealt, but Mavadidi gets it back again now, and he's pulled down by Sealt. A free kick to Leicester City, and 19 minutes have been played and they lead 1-0. Ball played back by Cody to Mads Hermansson. They say goalkeepers are mad, don't they? And they named him Mads Hermansson, and he's played the ball out into touch.
It's mad.
And
mad pass.
It was a mad pass. Free kick, throw to Sunderland on the left. Kjelder will take inside his own half and drops to Job plays it inside to Ekwa. Ekwa lays it off to Dan Ballard. Hamir made the run, but he's now had to come back because the ball's gone square to O'Nien. Looks for Neil. Winks is on his shoulder and brings Neil down. Free kick quickly taken by Dan Neil, but cut out by Chowdhury before it reached Job or Hamir. Winks plays it into the middle here now to Cody, bringing it up to the halfway line, laying it off to Callum Doyle, looking to try and get it through the gap to Dewsbury Hall. Comes up to Hamir, manages to nod it down to Ekwa. Mavadidi surely is going to be penalised for hauling Ekwa around, and he's penalised with a free kick to Sunderland, which Ekwa takes quickly back to Luke O'Nien. Now to Dan Neil again, forwards to Joe, back to Neil on the halfway line. Neil trying to twist away from Atgun, out to Hjelde on the left, back to Dan Neil. Atgun trying to close him down. Job now on the left wing, running at Chowdhury, cutting inside, pulls it back to Dan Neil. Neil swings it into the penalty area over the head of Rigg. Doyle heads it out. Ekwa lays it off to Sealt, and Sealt now down the right-hand side to Trey Hume, and Hume will cross towards the far post. Job looking for it, headed behind though by Fatawu.
Fatawu got up.
That's another Sunderland corner.
Good play by Sunderland, good balling by Hume.
A good little spell now from Sunderland. Almost a quarter of the way through the game. Good time to pull themselves back into it.
Yeah, and we've got to make sure we're on our toes because this is where they're dangerous as well.
Corner pulled back to Rigg, drives it in, looking for Job, headed in the air by Mavadidi. It's going to come down to Hamir as he shot though, blocked by Winks, and it's sailed wide.
At least he's got his shot away.
But he tried, he had a go.
Yeah.
And that's what he's there to do. 22nd minute. Goal kick though to Leicester City. Theis and Cody either side of the 6-yard box on the angles. Cody's going to tap the ball back to Hermansen. Hermansen drives it out wide on the left here to Callum Doyle, in fact to Enzo Maresco, the 44-year-old Italian coach who was assistant at Manchester City, appointed in June last year, and once as a player, as a midfielder, spent a couple of years. Here's the ball played through to Job by Sealt at West Bromwich Albion. It's rolled then by Sealt on the left to Hjelde. Oh. It's not a great cross. It went out. Hume couldn't keep it in.
Well done, Jason Sealt there.
But, intelligent play from Sealt, quick reaction. It's Gateshead 1, Solihull Moors 1. Winks plays it back to Mads Hermansen. It sounds like something out of a film. Back it comes to the Dane. He taps it out to Winks. Plays it across to Theis. Up towards the halfway line. Ballard gets above Vardy. And now to Ekwa. Inside to Rigg. Nice ball through to offside Job. Free kick to Leicester.
Unlucky.
Inside the penalty area, but the crowd getting behind Sunderland. You can see they're trying. They've got themselves back in it after going one down. They've not let their heads drop, but they still need to force a save out of Hermansen. Here's Winks back to Theis. Theis happy just to stroll out again, jog out. Coventry 2, Rotherham 0. Out now wide to Chowdhury. Job goes to cut out the ball, but Atgun's got it, skips away, trips up over his own feet. And the ball is said to, well, I thought he tripped up over his own feet. The referee said he was fouled. Free kick then to Leicester on the right, 24th minute. On to halfway. Back it comes to Theis, forwards to Chowdhury. Back to Theis, 25-year-old Belgian international. Back it comes again to Hermansen from Winks in the middle. Hermansen at the edge of his D, closed down by Hamir, swings the ball out to the left, looking for Doyle again out.
I tell you what, he must. Is there somebody playing in that dugout?
Well, both sides. He's kicked it out both sides, hasn't he? Not the greatest kicker. Signed from Bromby in the summer. The ball out again, another throw, this time to Leicester on the halfway line. Forwards comes Callum Doyle to take the throw. A couple of yards in the Sunderland half. Back it goes to Winks. Harry Winks, 10 England caps. Former Tottenham midfielder. Here's Dewsbury Hall. Back again to Chowdhury in the middle. And he rolls it on to Feist just in the Sunderland half. Forwards quickly to Atgun. Back to Feist in his own half and closed down by Dan Neil, who plays it back to the goalkeeper, who's outside of his penalty area. And Hermansen plays it back to Feist on the right-hand side. Lifts one down the right wing, but out for a throw to Sunderland, who trail 1-0 in the 26th minute. Live on BBC Radio Newcastle.
We've steadied the storm, haven't we?
Yeah, I think they've weathered that, and they got themselves into the game again. But I say they've got to get something. They've got to force a save from Hermansen at least, don't they?
We have to create an opportunity. That's what we've got to do.
Yeah. Throw from Hjelde over the head of Job. Drops eventually for Tawu, who plays it back to Hermansen and passes it out to Chowdhury. And Chowdhury through the middle to Winks, back to Hamza Chowdhury. And Chowdhury closed down by Equa, lifts one high up through the middle, looking for the run of Dewsbury Hall, but Hjelde will nod it back behind. Under no particular pressure for a corner to Leicester. Hull 1, Birmingham 0.
But again, there's nothing wrong with that ball. The ball's travelled, what, 40 yards, 50 yards, Nick? Just played into the channel. They've got people who's willing to run.
Yeah.
And it's ended up going for a corner.
Sunderland into making a mistake.
Yeah.
So from the right again at the north end of the stadium, Dewsbury Hall will take the corner. And plenty of blue shirts around the 6-yard box. A lot of movement. In it comes, headed out by Ballard. Only as far as Atgun, who lays it off to Mavadidi. Great block by Job. He tries to chip it in the top corner, but curls it round the angle for a goal kick to Sunderland. Patterson taps the ball to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien back to Patterson. Kicks out wide now towards Sealt. Keeps it in with his head to Hume on the halfway line. Rigg is behind him. Rigg looking for the run here of Joe, but it's
unlucky.
Swung through the penalty area. He just kept in from going behind by the goalkeeper. But he had the vision to try and find Job there. Chris Rigg, not short of confidence, a young lad to make a pass like that. And the ball played out by Feist, looking for Doyle on the left here. Rigg goes to try and close him down, gets a foot to it, back to Hume. Hume back to Patterson, who clears first time high in the air down the right. Doyle brings it down, but straight into the path of Equa. Equa to Rigg. Rigg inside now to Sealt, to Equa ahead of him. Closed down immediately. 4 Leicester players around him. Back to Hume and back to Patterson on the penalty spot. And out to O'Nien. Down the left here now to Dan Neil. A slip by Atgun. Neil turns, plays it inside to Equa. Equa out wide again to Hjelde. Tries to get round for Tawu, but took the ball out. It's a throw to Leicester. Coventry 3, Rotherham 0 now. Sims with a brace tonight for Coventry City. In the 29th minute here at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland 0, Leicester City 1. Jamie Vardy with the goal in the 13th minute, if you're just joining us on BBC Radio Newcastle. And Chowdhury still waiting to take this throw. Back it comes to Tawu, who plays it back to Feist. This on the right for Leicester, and he's dribbling into the centre and plays it to Winks. Winks now back to Feist, and he plays it across here on the left to Doyle. He flicks it on quickly to Dewsbury Hall. Out to the left wing, looking for the run of Mavadidi on the shoulder of Hume. He gets the ball down. Hume's though fouled by Mavadidi, says the referee. Steffi Mavadidi, signed from Montpellier in the summer. Began his career at Southend United. Here's Dewsbury Hall, edge of the area, plays it behind Atgun. And across goes Hjelde to clear, out to Job. And then tackled and fouled by Chowdhury. So Mavadidi, his career begins at Southend. He goes to Arsenal. And then he joins Juventus and Montpellier. What a career. 25 years old.
Not bad.
Throw down to Neil, back to Yelder, back to Dan Neil. Across here to Dan Ballard. Ballard in the centre, leaves it for Equa. Equa out on the right of central midfield to Chris Rigg at the edge of the centre circle. Rolls it to O'Nien. O'Nien pushing on now, driving on into the Leicester half. Down the left of midfield, rolls it out to the left to Yelder. Back it comes to Neil. Neil now looking up to put it in the box. Crosses in here, looking for Hume. Heads it back across towards Hamir. Headed out though to the edge of the area. Sealt looking to nod it back in. Job with his back to goal and Chowdhury behind him. Chowdhury manages to get his foot to it to Fatawu, who plays it back to the keeper, who has to hook it away over the head of Job. Out on the left here now to Doyle. Can't keep it in. It's a throw on the right to Sunderland. And Hume wants the ball quickly to throw it to Sealt to take the throw, who takes the throw back to Chris Rigg. Rigg here now. Back inside to Equa. Equa, as Job made to make a run, but the ball's played square to O'Nien. O'Nien now putting it in, looking for Equa's, but Job's header.
Lucky.
And the keeper's actually gone down now and finally made a save. Job's header forcing him to dive down to his left in the 31st minute.
Just not enough power behind the header, was it?
No.
But at least you've had a header on target or shot.
Leicester still lead 1-0. The keeper puts the ball out to the right to Face. Closed down by Job. Face just checks. Pulls the ball back here now to Chowdhury. Chowdhury inside to Winks. Back to Chowdhury. And back again to Hermansen. Hermansen again just strolling, walking out into midfield, passing it to Faust, who then Faust plays it back to the goalkeeper and hooked over the head of Hamir to Cody. Cody down the left, Doyle's ahead of him. Cody closed down by Hamir, but he plays it back to the goalkeeper. Out to Faust, closed down by Job, back to the goalkeeper. Again Hamir comes to close down. Hermansen kicks it through the middle, looking for the run of Vardy. Sealt in front of him. Vardy goes round him. Vardy's fouled the defender, even though he rolls the ball in the empty net. It's a free kick to Sunderland.
But how simple is that, Nick?
Yeah.
You know,
direct.
route one from the direct. Get people who's willing to run. There's nothing wrong with that.
Gateshead 1, Solihull Moors 2. Patterson taps the ball to O'Nien. We're in the 33rd minute now. Up to Job. Job looking for the run of Hume down the right wing. Takes it beautifully down on his right foot. Hume tries to cross, blocked by Doyle. Doyle comes off his back. Throw on the right for Sunderland. Hume takes it, back it goes into the Sunderland half to Ballard. Ballard into the middle to O'Nien. O'Nien then, Atkin trying to close him down. O'Nien trying to shake him off, plays it through to Equa. Equa lays it off to Dan Neil. Neil with Winks in front of him, trying to work it past Winks, who's won it back, leaves it for Chowdhury. Chowdhury running onto it, now still going towards the edge of the area, finds Dewsbury Hall, looking for Mavididi in the box down the left of the 6-yard box, pulls it back, and Ballard puts it out for a throw. Leeds 1, Stoke 0. Throw will be taken by Mavididi to Callum Doyle. Doyle back to Steffi Mavididi, trying to push it past Hume again, who goes out for a corner kick. The third Leicester City corner.
Switch on here, don't have.
And Ken, the big lads coming up. Mavididi walking back into the penalty area. It's going to be taken by Kiernan Dewsbury Hall on the left. Pulls it short to Mavididi, edge of the penalty area, opens up at the back of the area, puts it into the 6-yard box, bounces into the hands of Patterson. Patterson sprints to the edge of the penalty area, then stops and rolls it to Equa. Equa, in the 35th minute now, out to Yelder, back to O'Nien, forwards to Equa. Equa up towards Job. He let it try and run past him into the path of Hamir. but it's picked up by Leicester. Here's Cody to Weiss, and I'm looking around the bowl of the stadium. There's a lot of empty seats tonight as Hume nods it back to Patterson, rolled out quickly to Ekwa.
Oh, check back.
Ekwa, Vardy in front of him. Ekwa nearly caught by Vardy, gets it to O'Nien. O'Nien up to the centre circle.
He needs a runner.
And he needs to find someone to open things up. Sealt through to Rigg, passes it out ahead of Hume. Throw to Leicester, just a few yards down from Enzo Maresca. Quickly taken by Doyle. A foul, was there? The referee's seen something here. Sealt has been ordered across to the touchline.
He's got a cut.
He must have got a cut on the eye. They're treating his face. Sonny Singil comes across and he wants him off the pitch, I think. It's going to be a drop ball this now. And Sealt then off the pitch in the technical area receiving treatment. And the referee gets the ball. He will drop this in favour of Leicester City. I think he's wanting the Leicester players who are taking a drink on the touchline to get back on. And Winks is getting instructions from Enzo Maresca. And the referee, Sealt, looks as though he's about ready to come back on as well. Drops the ball at Doyle's feet. Doyle plays it back to Cody. Cody across to Weiss. Weiss to Chowdhury. Sealt waiting to come back on. Chowdhury looking for Vardy, who lays it off in the centre circle to Winks through the gap. Dewsbury Hall out quickly to Mavididi. Mavididi wide on the left here, trying to shake off Rigg, plays it back to Harry Winks. And Winks on the left plays it into the centre circle to Cody. Sealt comes back on. Cody drives it up to Atgun, who plays it up to Fatawu on the right-hand side. He's trying to come in past Yelder, trying to shake him off, gets into the penalty area, lays it off to Chowdhury, low ball in, and down goes Patterson and gets his body behind the ball. Still 1-0 to Leicester City. Another Patterson save in the 36th minute. Jamie Vardy's goal, the difference between the two sides.
That's a good ball.
Played up through the middle, looking for Hamir. It's come back though for Leicester, back to Hermansen. Plays it out through the middle to Chowdhury. Back to the goalkeeper. And again, very slow. They just hold the ball.
They just wait. You said they like to go 1v1,
and then they suddenly play it to the left to Cody. Cody out down the left wing here. Hamir goes to cover, but Cody gets it back to the goalkeeper. And
so just wait for it. You see,
he comes out again into the middle. Coventry 4, Rotherham 0. Sims with a hat-trick tonight, and then the ball's lifted over the top. The runner is for Tawu, but Ballard's got his head on it, and he will hook it away out into the east stand for a throw to Leicester.
It might not look pretty, but it's effective.
It's effective, isn't it?
You know, they just wait, and then all of a sudden they just play over the top, and they've got two wide players and Vardy who are willing to run.
Now back to Cody. Cody on halfway through the middle, Winks into the centre circle, wheels away to the left, and then checks. Ekwa's in front of him, taps it to Callum Doyle, up towards Dewsbury Hall, poked away by Sealt to Rigg. Rigg now, just in the middle, needs to look for someone to get through the centre, Neil, but back comes Fatawu and hooks the ball away, back to the goalkeeper, who takes it on his chest. He could have caught it, brought it down to his feet, and passes it out to Doyle here on the left-hand side for Leicester City. Then picked up as they played it forwards by Ballard, back to Patterson, out to Ballard again. Ballard out wide to Hume. Hume closed down by Mavididi, gets it up to Sealt. Sealt with Doyle pushing him and trying to get in his face. It's played back to Hume, up to Hamir, comes off him, thinks he's fouled, the referee agrees. Cody, the perpetrator, and this free kick on halfway on the right-hand side, halfway between the centre circle and touchline, comes back to Ballard, to O'Nien, and then forwards wide on the left to Hjelde. Neil's gone on the overlap, Job's gone down through the middle, it's gone out to Neil on the left-hand side, inside then to O'Nien, through to Job, little back heel to Hjelde, and Hjelde, he crosses with his right, probably lost the moment, comes out to Ekwa now trying to find a way through for O'Nien. O'Nien is just tapped away from him and cleared. Out here to Mavididi on the left-hand side. Hume sprinting back. Mavididi trying to get away from him. He's brought down by Hume. No, says the referee, got the ball.
He's never brought him down, he played the ball.
And it's played out by Ballard to Hume. It's got the crowd on their feet. The ball comes back out off Doyle. It's another throw to Sunderland.
Mavididi just got straight back up.
Yeah, no complaints. Hume got the ball. Sealt with a throw on the right-hand side. Rigg brings it down neatly. Plays it into Neil on the centre spot. Out to Hjelde, back to Dan Neil. Neil looking for the run of Hjelde. A stretch by Fatawu, but it went past him and past Hjelde for a throw to Leicester on the far side. We're in the 42nd minute. Sunderland 0, Leicester City 1 here on BBC Radio Newcastle. We will be with you from Southampton on Saturday, I hope. Bearing in mind, once before we made that journey, the car broke down. Here on the halfway line, Winks. It's knocked out for a throw to Leicester again on the far side. Up comes Chowdhury to take this on, or just about halfway on the right-hand side. Jamie Vardy's goal after 13 minutes, the difference between the two sides. Since then, they've not really threatened Leicester. And
they haven't. As I said, you know, as it stays like this, we're still in the game.
Got a chance, yeah. Ekwa through to Hamir. Hamir now being urged on to carry it on. He's tried to play it through to Rigg. Just a little bit too harsh on the ball, and it's run through to the goalkeeper. Hamir apologises to Chris Rigg, and Hermansen brings the ball out again and passes it to Feis. Feis to Fatawu. He's won back though by Hjelde to Job, now looking for Ekwa. Ekwa has got Sealt in support, coming down the right, tried to slip it through to Chris Rigg, blocked by Winks. Comes back to Ekwa, who now finds Neil and Hjelde. Job's made a jog down the left of the penalty area. It's come back to Neil, and now back to O'Nien. O'Nien trying to find a gap, finds Job on the left. Hjelde's making a run. Hjelde wide left, crosses first time. Hamir let it drop over his shoulder, looking for Rigg to get on the end of it, but
Cody.
A free kick to Leicester for a foul on Cody or Feis. Both of them went down. So 44th minute, Leicester leading 1-0. Fatawu goes and gets the ball, plays it back to the goalkeeper to take the free kick. Hermansen in his light green puts the ball down. Doyle comes jogging back, then turns and jogs back again towards the halfway line. Rigg was going to go with him. The kick is taken by Hermansen, floats up through the middle. Vardy gets his head on the end of it. It drops for Sealt. Mavadidi's lurking. O'Nien just brings it down and shakes off Mavididi. Plays it out to Sealt. Sealt clicks it inside, but Vardy's got it off him. Playing on, says the referee. Vardy's still going in the middle. Players getting back. He's played it to Dewsbury Hall, and Dewsbury Hall now with Sunderland players around him. On his shoulder is Hume. Crosses, and O'Nien has to head it behind. From in front of Patterson and the open goal. The fourth Leicester corner on the stroke of half-time. We're in the last minute of the 45. Dewsbury Hall's come down to take this corner on the left. The north end of the stadium in this first half is the end which Leicester are attacking. Plenty of blue shirts in the box. Dewsbury Hall from the left with his left foot Low ball played in, it bounces off the chest of O'Neill, and then Fice heads it straight at Patterson, who catches it cleanly, rolls it out quickly now to Job, being closed down by Chowdhury. He's pushed it past Chowdhury. It's a chase back for Akgun. Who's going to get there first? The Turk does, and gets it back to the goalkeeper. And it's played out now to Winks, bringing it through midfield, up to the left, Callum Doyle on halfway, then Mavididi. Fourth official comes out here now. How much time? 2 minutes shown by Lee Doughty. Comes down to Callum Doyle on the left-hand side. We're in the first of those 2 minutes. Back now to Cody, out into the middle to Chowdhury, and Chowdhury bringing this up through the centre circle and playing it out to the right to Yunus Akgun, who plays it back to Chowdhury, to Fice, and then to Cody, and Cody now close down by Hamir, up to Vardy on halfway, who lays it off behind him to Winks, and Winks to Fice, and Fice just happy to stroll about with it, and then plays it to Chowdhury, back to Cody, and back again to the goalkeeper. Passed out first time to Fice, then Chowdhury in the middle, Chowdhury back to Hermansen. Hermansen, as we've nearly played a minute of the two, kicks out again into touch over Enzo Maresca. Hume with a throw back to Sealt. Sealt back again to Patterson at the edge of the area, foot on the ball, flicks it out into the midfield, kicks it long, looking for Hume. Hume gets his head on it. It's going to drop for Cody though in the middle, and Cody will play it here to the keeper. Back it goes. We're in the second minute of time being added on at the end of the first half. Fice bringing this out on the left-hand side now to Dewsbury Hall, who drives it straight at Hume, finds Rigg, crashes into Dewsbury Hall, has fouled Rigg, Dewsbury Hall. He's furious, the Leicester player, and Sonny Gill telling him to calm down. Sealt picking himself up with the aid of Rigg picking himself up with the aid of a hand from Hume. Sealt over the ball, and we've got 3-4 seconds left. One suspects that when this ball is kicked, the half-time whistle might go. It does indeed. Yeah. And at the break, Leicester lead by that 13th minute. Jamie Vardy goal, and to Sunderland's credit, they didn't let their heads drop. They got back into the game. They denied Leicester really any more clear-cut opportunities. Chowdhury had a chance which Patterson saved, but Sunderland did play themselves back into it.
Yeah, they played well. We weathered the storm. You know, we steadied the ship, shall we say, because you've got to say, you know, Leicester could easily have been going in at least 2, 3, maybe even 4 up. You know, but as it stands at 1-0, we're still in the game. You know, the pace. You know, how many times have they played the ball over the top and they've been able to get it? And that's where we need, you know, at times, yeah, we play good football, but it's all in front of Leicester City. Everything's in front, nothing's behind. And I think that's where we've got to sort of mix it up.
Can't afford to let Leicester get a second, because watching this, we know there's not goals in the team, so they've really got to try and keep it tight at the back and hope that they can get one at the other end. Yeah, we've got to cause them 1 or 2 more problems, Nick. That's what we've got to do. You know, we've had one header on target with Bellingham, easy save. But I think we've just got to. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with going long. You know, route one, get them turned, playing their half. At times we're playing. I think sometimes we're playing too much in our own half. And you've seen the likes of Luke O'Neill, who's made 2 or 3 forward runs because that's the only way we're going to push on. So the second half to come on BBC Radio Newcastle and SAFC.com. At the interval, it's a Jamie Vardy goal that's the difference. Half time, it's Sunderland 0, Leicester City 1.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
The iconic shirt that Colin Firth wore as Mr. Darcy in this scene.
Mr. Darcy?
Miss Bennett.
I did not expect to see you.
Is going up for auction today. So I wanted to know, what's your iconic piece of clothing that you would auction off? John in Concert.
I had some Union Jack socks. I worked in Guernsey as a bus driver, and the Queen was visiting. As I got off the bus, the Queen drove past and slowed right down, so she looked at me and gave us a dirty look as if off with his head. How dare you step in front of my car? I should get $500,000 for it.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And this is Simon Pride at the Stadium of Light. Thanks to Barnsley and Benno for their first half commentary. Sunderland trailing then by that Jamie Vardy header by 1-0 here at half time. The second half to follow very shortly. I'll take you through some of the other scores as well in the Championship and elsewhere during this half time interval. We'd like to hear from you as well. So if you want to send us a message on 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp or on text 81333, starting your message in either case with the letters BBC, it would be great to hear from you. Marco Gabbiadini, former Sunderland striker and Total Sport presenter, is joining me now, having watched the first half. Marco, I guess after Leicester's first goal, it looked as though things could get a bit messy, but credit to Sunderland, I guess. They've dug in there, created a couple of opportunities of their own, and this game, it's still there for them to take something from, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the score lines, it hasn't run away from us. I think the goal was always on the cards right from kickoff, really. I thought Leicester were very sharp. They were very, I was going to say direct, but they're sort of like, what's the old dance, slow, quick, weren't they? They were happy to just be patient and, try and drag Sunderland about a bit while their defenders had possession. But when it went forward, they played some really well. Callum Doyle was probably the most important player. He played some fantastic balls round the back of our defence, which is something that we really don't do enough of, and it causes.
I knew you would say that because that's something that you've talked about all season.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge issue for us, and there's nothing wrong with it. He's gone to the full-back, he's looked up, and people are moving, and you play it into space. And you say to them, go on then, you get on the end of that and see what happens. And it causes all, defenders hate it because they're running backwards, they're having to turn, and Leicester probably, they had 2 or 3 great positions where they should have probably done better with, and eventually they've got a goal which is from a set piece basically, but and then really Sunderland have done okay. But, it's still the same old issue, same issues for me, is that we get in that final third and we're just lacking any invention or any, through balls out at the right pace. And even little things, Simon, like we had a corner and it went back out to the side where the ball had been taken, and I think it was Equalizer, received it, and he received it on his left foot. And we've still got all our men in the box, and they've squeezed out. Now, for me, that's as a forward, I'm looking to run into the space that the defenders have just vacated, and for a ball to go in. But Ekwa switched it from his left foot to his right foot, and in that sort of second or so that it takes to do that, the opportunity's gone for me. And it's all those little things like that we just don't seem to get at the moment, and is what's causing us issues.
Hemir given another chance up front tonight. You've already talked about the lack of cutting edge that the team's had. I don't know what you've made of the runs he's tried to make and the impact that he has had, if he has had any, in your view.
It's not been scintillating, has it? I mean, Leicester have been the better team. They've defended quite well. I don't think he's tearing about the pitch, but then, as you said, it's more about the pass. They're not particularly looking for that. We're not particularly, Sunderland as a team aren't particularly looking for that. Maybe Mike Dods, would say that he is trying to change a few things, but you sort of, there's no point if your build-up is slow and it takes you time to get up the field. The defence drop in and there isn't the space to play in as Leicester did to us numerous times in the first 20 minutes. The space isn't there to run in behind, so you've got to create that situation by doing it quicker. So look, it's very difficult because he's not had particularly loads of touches. I'm not trying to be down on the lad, but it's he's not got the fans off the seats, has he really?
Yeah. The overall message at half-time then would be from you, just do stuff quicker. And I think that's probably been your message for quite some while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's been an issue for us for a long time. And I think we've got ourselves in a position where I'm not quite sure what our tactics are really. We're neat and tidy, and we can pass, and the lads are competitive. I've got no issues with their attitude and things like that, but we've got to be more dangerous in the final third, because we've got to be more mischievous. We've got to be take more risk and but that's hard to say when it's people. We've had a couple of opportunities where like Silt's overlapped and but you don't. Players like him, they're not the ones you want running onto the ball in wide positions. It's getting the ball to the people who can influence the game.
Marco, thank you very much indeed for now. We'll see what the second half brings. Marco Gabbiadini back on Total Sport tomorrow evening, when obviously we'll spend some considerable time analysing events here at the Stadium of Light tonight. Benno will be with me at the full-time whistle up until 10 o'clock this evening, just to give a quick bit of analysis as well as to what we have seen. Who knows what the second half might bring back with that second half very shortly. Let me update you with what else is going on in the Championship this evening. The half-time whistles have blown on all but one of the games. Blackburn 0, Millwall 0. Coventry, though, lead Rotherham United by 4-0. Ellis Sims, formerly on loan at Sunderland, of course, has another hat-trick to his name. He got it in the first 37 minutes as well. Latibaudiere with the other goal for Coventry, so they are well on their way to a comfortable victory over struggling Rotherham. Hull City lead Birmingham City by 1-0. Tufan the goal scorer there, and Leeds are 1-up on Stoke City. James the scorer in that one. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Plymouth Argyle 0. And in the later kickoff, the 8 o'clock kickoff, Ipswich Town 0, Bristol City 0. Ipswich, of course, in hot pursuit of tonight's visitors to the Stadium of Light, Leicester. In League One, Barnsley lead Bolton by 1-0. Charlton are 1-up away at Cheltenham. And Peterborough United lead Northampton Town by 3-1. In League Two, Wimbledon 0, Grimsby Town 0. It's Barrow 1, Gillingham 0. Bradford City 0, Doncaster Rovers 1. Mansfield Town 1, Milton Keynes Dons 1. And it's Morecambe 0, Crawley Town 0. And in the National League, Gateshead are in action this evening. They're playing Solihull Moors. It started well enough for Gateshead, Ben Warman putting them ahead in just the 3rd minute, but the visitors have come back at them, and they now lead by 2-1. They have turned it round. Campbell and Stevens, the goal scorers for Solihull Moors. In the Champions League this evening, Harry Kane has scored for Bayern Munich, who lead Lazio by 1-0 in the round of 16. That's the second leg, so it's 1-1 on aggregate. And Paris Saint-Germain lead by 1-0 in Spain against Real Sociedad. Kylian Mbappe with that goal, so it looks fairly straightforward for them from here on in. They are now 3-0 up on aggregate. So that's you up to date with everything else which has been going on in the world of football this evening here at the Stadium of Light, as the substitutes go through their warm-up routines on the pitch in front of me. Leicester City lead Sunderland by 1-0 in the second half is coming up shortly. Sunderland's women moved 4 points clear at the top of the Championship, beating rivals Southampton 1-0 at Eppleton at the weekend. So let's hear a little bit from the Black Caps forward Mary McAteer, who scored that winning goal, and she spoke to the club website after the game.
Yeah, I mean, since last game we've had a sort of mantra which has been 7 games to go, 6 games to go, and now it's 5 games to go. So I think we're just taking it game by game, but obviously as we're picking up points, that momentum's growing and growing. Hopefully we'll just take that through each game, and yeah.
So let's have a catch up on the chat. I'm back, I've been away. Thank you for
stop the team like Southampton going.
Yeah, like the threat that Southampton have, they're an unbelievable side, one of the most technical sides in the league.
We normally play worse second half, so
we knew that to sort of get a result, we had to keep clean sheet first, and then yeah, that gives us as attackers like the opportunity to go forward and express ourselves.
Greetings from Toulouse, greetings from the United Kingdom.
And also at half-time, just keep us in a place of, I suppose, keep us calm going into the second half to play well. of points?
Yeah, of course. I think Mel's very good at sort of keeping us motivated. Like, we all know our goal here, and it's just
Jennifer
reminding
Andrews,
us of that, and also
sounds like
reminding us
a
to
mansion.
do. She said in the pre-game, it's just do the basics brilliantly. So I think that's what we aim to do, and I think that's what we did successfully today.
And you scored the match-winning goal. That must have been a great moment for yourself to see that one fly in the top corner.
Yeah, obviously it's a great feeling always to score individually, but I'm just glad it could go and help the team. I think it's just after half-time, and sort of message to us as well was taking more shots. Let's test it.
Time for my half-time food scone and wine and soda.
Yeah, let's try and get one. Yeah, it was nice to see it fly in.
It's crazy, isn't it? North Alabama.
Mary McAteer, Sunderland's match winner on Sunday. Sunderland women at the top of the championship as things stand.
I agree, Jennifer. I thought
going for a return after a long time to the top flight of women's football. The WSL beckons, but it's very tight at the top. A number of teams still with a chance, with only 5 games remaining. So obviously we'll keep a close watch on how things turn out in that division here on BBC Radio Newcastle. The team's yet to come out for the second half here at the Stadium of Light, so we can just bring in a little bit of cricket as well. Durham beat the Southern Rocks by 16 runs in a T20 match. That's on their pre-season visit to Zimbabwe. Meanwhile, Johnny Bairstow says he is ready for an emotional week when he becomes just the 16th man to play 100 test matches for England. The Yorkshire batter will reach that landmark in the 5th test against India, which starts on Thursday.
Yeah, really excited for the week ahead. You always want to believe that you can do that throughout the whole journey of being in this.
There we are. I'll turn the radio stream down a little bit.
There's going to be challenges that
yes, darling.
Good girl. It's about how you react to those challenges.
So I hope that's better at the moment, John, while I'm having a chat. Yes, darling. Okay, push it forward, pet. That's it. Now get your ball. Good girl. Yeah, I've turned the radio down, so hopefully you can hear me a bit better now. Cheers for letting us know there, John. Paige Lear, we're shocking tonight. Like the Northern Podcast, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Is that my dog that keeps coming on the screen? Well, no, I've only got 2 cats and 2 goldfish and a couple of spiders in the bath, but it certainly isn't my dog. It's not moving very well, is it? Jonathan Mark, think we'd be losing a lot more players than expected in the summer, as loads look like they don't want to be here and showing zero. Better thanks, no problem, John. Who do we have to come on? That's a good one, isn't it?
Whatever journey comes post-cricket in a few years' time.
Johnny Bairstow speaking ahead of the 5th test, which starts on Thursday. The Leicester players are just coming out of the tunnel ahead of the second half here at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland trailing by 1-0 against Leicester, and that second half with
I've got none left.
Half-time highlights.
Saving it for the Friday phone-in.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Or the Friday podcast, should I say.
Dinks it to the back of the 6-yard box. Another great save, and then Vardy scores. Save from the initial header by Feist, but Vardy followed up with a header, and there was nothing.
No, I don't have tarantulas. Cabby, what a shambles we are. It's an absolute disgrace. It is. It absolutely is.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
But anyway, we're about to start the second half. I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to turn the stream up.
Sunderland to get the second half underway, defending the Roker end in the second half. Patterson in goal. Back 3. Silt, Ballard and O'Nien. Silt pushes quite a bit forwards actually on the right. Hume, Neil, Equa, Rigg and Helder, Job and Amir. And Leicester, Hermanson in goal. Feist, Cody and Doyle the centre-backs. Chowdhury on the right. Winks in the central midfield. Fatawu, Watt right. Atgun, Dewsbury Hall left. Mavadidi, the player with all that pace. And Vardy up front as Hamir gets the second half underway. The Sunderland benches Bishop, Pembele, Burstow, Mundle, Rusin, Barr, Al-Sheesh, Styles and Kelly as the ball comes back to Patterson, played out to Ballard, flicks it away from Dewsbury Hall, and the key, Benno, is of course not to concede a second.
Yeah, don't concede a second. As I said, I would imagine that Michael Dods has said, you know, up the tempo a little bit and see if we can cause them 1 or 2 problems. But on the other hand, Nick, Leicester will be saying, look, we need to put this to bed.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they've had 2 or 3 good opportunities.
I think they will know as well as we do that if they score a second, and then that's them probably winning the game. So the next goal is obviously the crucial goal in this game. We're in the 46th, nearly 47th minute. The ball comes back on the left for Cody, plays it back to Weiss, back again to Hermansen, Mads Hermansen, the Danish keeper, all in light green, swings it out wide left, headed away by Seelt. Winks picks it up, trying to get it is Rigg. He finds Hermia. Hermia now through to Dan Neil. Neil caught a little bit under his feet, and then he's robbed of the ball by Dewsbury Hall at the edge of the area. Just came in behind him, gets the ball back to Doyle, and out comes Mavadidi with the ball swept up into the centre, which O'Nien wins. Back to Winks. Winks though then across to the left to Doyle and back to Cody. Cody at the corner of his penalty area plays it across to the goalkeeper, who's out on the right here in central midfield. Out to Weiss, back to the keeper, who's dropped back to the edge of his area. Plays it out to Chowdhury, back to Hermansen. Just puts his foot on the ball, taps it forwards a few yards. Looking up to drive this down the left wing for Doyle. Drops down onto his left foot, brings it onto his right, flicks it through to Mavadidi. Hume gets a foot to it. Mavadidi gets a foot to it, comes back to Ballard, through to Ekwa. And through the middle to Hamir. Plays it off now to Job. Man on, shouts the crowd. It's for Tawu. Played out to the left to Hjelde. And then it's played back to Ballard. And Ballard out wide to Rigg. Tried to get it down the touchline, but it's gone out off a Leicester player for a Sunderland throw. So still 1-0 to Leicester City, and a throw which Winks tries an overhead kick and gets it up into the middle to Job. Job now trying to work it out to this left-hand side, finds behind him Dan Neil, back to Job on the left, back again to O'Nien, into the middle to Ekwa. Ekwa rolling it to Ballard, this inside the Leicester half, forwards to Rigg, back to Ballard. Ballard just to his right to Seelt on the touchline, trying to find a run from Amir. Comes back into the right of midfield, then tries to cross. It comes off the back of Winks, drops for Ekwa, lays it off to Dan Neil, out to Hjelde on the left, and Hjelde now back to Neil. Neil trying to get away from Akgun, but he's got a touch to it, and Akgun now trying to get away on the left. He's tackled, and it's a throw to Leicester in front of Mike Dods.
And that's where we've got to be especially switched on at the back, Nick. You know, especially when we're on the ball and we're attacking. You know, sometimes we're in 1v1 situation, and they do like to counter-attack.
Plenty of movement around the penalty area, but they just couldn't get the ball in the box. Leicester get it away now. They've got this throw on the right-hand side. Chowdhury takes it, drops to O'Nien, hooks it away back down the left. Chowdhury tries to get away from Job, just spun him and plays the ball back to Weiss. And Weiss now to Chowdhury, back to Weiss, the Belgian. He swings it down the right, headed away by Hjelde. Up to Winks. Winks nodding it through to Fatawu. O'Nien's on his shoulder. Fatawu now just rolling it through to Dewsbury Hall. Tackled by Hume. Picked up by Ekwa to Rigg. Rigg inside, leaves it for Ekwa. Inside the Sunderland half, though, still in the 50th minute. Ekwa through the centre circle, looking for the run of Hume wide on the right, but bounces away from Trey Hume, out for a throw to Leicester, deep in the Leicester half.
Options, 0.
They've got to find a way. On the Leicester City bench, the outfield players, Justin Albrighton, Ikianako, Suter, Daka, Ndidi, Marsal and Nelson. Well, they've got strikers there. And no doubt Jamie Vardy, 37-year-old Jamie Vardy, will be taken off at some point. O'Nien plays it back through the middle to Patterson. Foot on the ball, plays it to Ballard to his left. Back to Patterson. Patterson O'Nien's gone wide. Patterson's going to play this up over the halfway line, looking for Hjelde. Flicked off out for a throw to Sunderland. Last touch was Abdul Fatawu, the Ghanaian international on loan from Sporting Lisbon. Comes back to O'Nien, across to Ballard in the middle. And Ballard plays it to the right to Sealt. Sealt back to Ballard. And Ballard taps it back to Anthony Patterson, the edge of his 6-yard box. Oh. He loses his balance as he plays the ball out, and out it goes for a throw over the head of Hjelde to Leicester City.
And that's what we don't do. We don't put any pressure onto their keeper. He's had the freedom to spray the ball left and right. 30, 40 yards.
Yeah, he has, but mainly out.
Yeah, no.
But he has had the freedom to do that.
Had the freedom. No pressure.
Out to Feist, back again, back of the centre circle, Connor Cody. Out Feist again, closed down by Job, back it goes to...
No pressure on him.
Hermanson, yeah, no pressure on at all. The nearest Sunderland player is Hamir, a good 20 yards away. So he's waiting to pick out his kick. Hermanson, eventually Hamir goes to close him down. He sweeps the ball out to the left to Doyle, flicks it onto Mavadidi. Hume's trying to get the ball off him, but he's just pushed off the ball by Mavadidi, who plays it back to Cody. Cody into the centre circle to Feist, and he's played a short pass forwards onto the centre spot to Chowdhury, back to Feist, a couple of yards behind him. Winks then in that little triangle and plays it out to Atgun on this right hand side. Atgun away from O'Nien and Joe, back to Feist, and Feist up to halfway again, squares it to Doyle. Doyle down to Mavadidi, immediately closed down by Hume, who shuffles the ball out for a throw. It's just going to be left to Callum Doyle to take. Callum Doyle's 13th league appearance of the season, his 11th start tonight. 20 years old now. Blackburn 0, Millwall 1. Massive goal for Millwall. Chowdhury back to Feist. Back forwards again a few yards to Winks, closed down by Equa, back to Feist. A bit of pressure now from Sunderland on the ball. Better. Job trying to get Feist to make a mistake, but he gets the ball out to Dewsbury Hall, who's fouled by Sealt. And a free kick to Leicester City.
That's a little bit better, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of bite then from Sunderland suddenly.
Up the field.
Free kick will be taken by Doyle, inside to Winks. Winks back to the goalkeeper, and Hermanson again passing it out to Feist. Feist forwards now, cut out by Ballard, who got in front of Vardy. Ballard threading it through to Hamir. That comes off him, and it was Fatawu who, little Belletic, got the ball to Dewsbury Hall, then Winks, then Chowdhury up to Fatawu on the halfway line, and then a foul on Atgun.
He's going to get booked.
And O'Nien has picked up his 10th. O'Nien's out of the game at Southampton and home here against Queen's Park Rangers.
Frustration.
He couldn't see the game through, and it's a shame because it's actually been a game where the referees seem to reluctant to pull out this yellow card tonight. There's not been many incidents.
Yeah, bars coming on,
but as long as Hume doesn't pick up one as well, that would be a double blow. But one blow, O'Nien.
Sheesh coming on, is he? And Bar.
Could be.
Yeah.
Leicester lead 1-0. O'Nien's picked up his 10th yellow card of the season. Throw to Sunderland on the left here. Hjelde to take it. Drops to Job. Tried to get it through the middle. And the whistle's blown. Free kick. This back in the Sunderland half. Dan Neil quickly takes it to Equa. Equa to Ballard. Comes up to halfway. Wide now to Sealt. Trying to get away from Mavadidi. And tries to cross, crashes off Doyle, smashed into his face, and he's flat out on his back now. It'll be a throw to Sunderland. That Doyle
Mundell's
certainly felt that. Mundell's coming on, isn't he?
Mundell, Bar.
Who else? I think you're right about Ashish. I think Ashish is down there underneath the lip of the Ashish and Mundle are going to come on. Yeah, double substitution. Callum Doyle's back up on his feet. Sunderland with his throw. Sealt to Equa, back to Sealt on the touchline, trying to claw his way through, but he's pulled down. Free kick to Sunderland. Wide on the right. Will Rigg come off, do you think?
I think he's done okay, Rigg.
He's done okay, I just think who these two will come on for. Equa will take the free kick. One man in the wall, that's Mavadidi, just to the left of the Leicester City penalty area. Equa steps back a couple of yards, yard in from touch on the right wing. Equa then with his left foot curls this in, the keeper catches it, took it easily off the head of Jensen Sealt, who was coming in on him. The two substitutes still waiting to come on. The ball has been played out to Doyle. He slips it inside to Winks, back to Cody at the edge of the area, then out to Feis on the right for Leicester City, bringing it up to the halfway line, chipping it over the top, looking for the run of Vardy, but Hume cuts across, takes it down, plays it to Neil. Neil in the middle, back to Equa behind him, forwards now, but didn't find Rigg. He passed it straight to Doyle, and now Dewsbury Hall down the left of the penalty area, almost onto the goal line and into the corner. Cutting inside now, rolling it back to Mavadidi at the corner of the penalty area, comes across the back, plays it to Winks, behind him, Doyle again, and Doyle to Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall back to Winks, Winks forwards again to Doyle, back to Winks towards the halfway line, and he plays it in to Cody on the centre spot, almost in the centre circle, out to the Feis on the right, and then out to Fatawu, who's trying to get round Hjelde and was fouled by the left back. It's a free kick to Leicester on the right wing, halfway inside the Sunderland half. We're in the 59th minute and Sunderland are trailing by a goal to nil. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Total Sport returns tomorrow night at 6 o'clock with Simon Pride, Marco Gabbiadini and John Anderson. They'll be chewing over this game. The free kick taken by Dewsbury Hall, down the right to Fatawu, who puts in a cross, and it's hooked behind by O'Nien at full stretch, but he didn't get contact, presumably, as it's a goal kick, and the substitutions will be made. And the player, Equa, is being replaced by Aushish. And Hamir is coming off as well.
Let's talk about, you know, you look at Hamir.
Joe presumably will go up front.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Won't be surprised. Mundle's gone up front.
So Mundle in the middle. Aushish up there alongside of him in the centre, with Hume and Hjelde at the moment wide left and right. Patterson has the ball. Job has dropped very deep. Here he is. He's now skipped one challenge and two. He gets the ball away on this left-hand side. Still coming forwards, Job down the left, looking for Hjelde. Hjelde has Aushish inside of him. Behind him is Dan Neil. Dan Neil to Job. Job laying it off to Ballard in the centre circle. And then forwards here to Chris Rigg. Rigg to Mundle. Tries to shoot from the back of the box.
Is it a shot or a cross?
I'm not sure. I've
he was
given it as a shot, but I think he was probably caught, as you say, in two minds. Goal kick to Leicester. So I wonder what this change in shape will do. Gateshead 1, Solihull Moors 3. Winks here at the edge of the Leicester penalty area, out to Chowdhury. Chowdhury looking for the run of Vardy. Ballard, oh, he's pushed Ballard. Free kick to Sunderland. No doubt about the push. Vardy strides away. his long-sleeved undershirt and gloves. We're into the final half an hour, 61st minute. Neil inside to Job, drives it on to Hume, but on his shoulder is Mavadidi, and it's played inside to Winks. Winks now surrounded by red and white shirts, and Rigg wins it, gets it back now from Sealt. Rigg takes this on, looking for Aushish on the left of the penalty area. Aushish into the box, and he drives one at Weiss, who puts it behind for a corner.
That's a little bit better, you know, going forward.
Bit of intent.
Yeah, bit of pace, bit of tempo, with a bit of belief.
Short corner back to Dan Neil from Aushish. And Dan Neil rolls it to Aushish again, curls the ball into the box, and Mundle gets his head under it, looking for a corner, and it is.
Corner.
The keeper tried to keep it in, but it's a corner to Sunderland, their 4th of the game, 2nd of the second half.
Make sure we switched on.
Now Sheesh to take it from the right-hand side here now. 1-0 to Leicester in the 63rd minute now. The ball swung in here, and Weiss heads it out. Dan Neil will run onto it, plays it back to Trey Hume in the centre circle. Hume, as Leicester push out, swings it high up in the air to the corner of the penalty area on the right, headed out by Doyle, only as far as Aushish. Inside to Job, back to Aushish down the right of the box, inside to Mundle. He can't get the ball through. Just knocked off his feet, back to the goalkeeper. Mundle frustrated. The ball rolled out now to Doyle, back to Cody. Cody, short pass forward to Winks. Winks being pursued by Job, gets it out to Weiss, up towards the halfway line, stabbed out by Hjelde from the feet of Fatawu. And the Sheffield Wednesday 1, Plymouth 0. The throw will be taken by Chowdhury, just beside Enzo Moresca. Blackburn 1, Millwall 1. Aushish has it. He's won it back now. Aushish rolls it to Hume. Hume takes it on, tries a shot. Oh, off the underside of the bar. Mundle can't head it in. The keeper got his hands to it, but it crashed off the underside of the bar.
That's a lot better. Tell you what, excellent save by the goalkeeper.
Worth the effort.
Great effort by Trey Hume there. That's a little bit better, isn't it?
Yes. Looking a bit more like a goal threat now. Still 1-0 to Leicester though. And the crowd getting exacerbated by the time taken by Leicester at the back, where they roll it out, and Winks gets it out to Chowdhury here on the right-hand side. Chowdhury rolling it down, looking for Mavadidi. Hume knocks it out. It's a throw to Leicester on the right. 65th minute now. As Chowdhury halfway inside the Sunderland half with this throw for Leicester, who are all in blue tonight. Sunderland, of course, in their red and white stripes. It comes back to Weiss, then to Cody. Hermansson's a long way out in midfield. Played inside to Cody, lifts one over the top, looking for the run of Fatawu. Headed away by Hjelde, out for a throw again to Leicester on this right-hand side. Weiss goes to recover the ball, leaves it for Chowdhury to take, just down from Enzo Moresca. Calling for it is Atgun, goes inside to Winks. Back to Chowdhury, stabbed out by Dan Neil. Another throw to Leicester on this right-hand side. Chowdhury trying to find someone to throw the ball to. Goes to Atgun. Atgun tries a half volley with his left foot over the bar from 22, 23 yards. Still 1-0 to Leicester.
But it's much better in the second half by Sunderland. You know, Leicester are not getting their own way, had they? You know, they dominate. You've got to say they near enough dominated the first half.
Well, it's giving Sunderland fans some optimism that they might get back in the game. As the ball floats up to Weiss, heads the ball down straight to Hume in the middle now to Chris Rigg. Go on, have a go. He's still going. Plays it out now to Hjelde on the left-hand side. Hjelde, oh, it's a poor cross. It's kept in though by Hume on the goal line, but cleared. And in goes Sealt to win a throw on the far side. Hume will take this. Finds Aushish. Aushish now taking on Doyle down in the corner. Flicks it back. Hume trying to drive it into the penalty area. Comes behind Hjelde now, out on this left-hand side. Hjelde looking to get the ball in to Job in the middle. Back to Ballard, just forwards of the centre circle. Again to Rigg, but Rigg gives the ball away, but then goes and wins it back. Rigg with Mavididi on the deck. Rigg still going here. Rigg onto his left foot, over the top. Into the north stand, but he's had a go. Mavididi on his knees, hunched up.
Mavididi can get up now.
No, he's kneeling up here.
There's nothing wrong with him.
Up on his feet.
You know,
much the anger. Jamie Vardy having a word with the referee. Jamie Vardy's the captain tonight for Leicester. In the 68th minute now, he plays 67 minutes. Referee's coming back with a card here, I think, for goalkeeper Hermansen for time wasting. But a reminder that Luke O'Nien's picked up his 10th yellow card of the season. The ball played up to the halfway line. Mavididi wrestling with Sealt, quite literally. Then Rigg gets in, tries to get the ball away. He feels he was fouled, the referee agrees. This little spell is probably the time for Sunderland to get back in the game while they're enjoying quite a bit of possession. Aushish knocking it back to Job. Job now to Neil. Neil through to Aushish again, lays it off to O'Nien. Wide to Hjelde, back to, just short of Aushish. And eventually Hjelde comes out and smashes it off Akgun into the advertising boards for a throw to Leicester. They're not out of this, Sunderland. They're 1-0 down, but there's a bit more purpose about them now the changes have been made. Yeah. And Chowdhury is going to take this throw on the right-hand side. Down the line it goes. Vardy's on the end of it. Comes inside to Ballard. Now forwards a few yards to Job. Into the centre circle, lays it off to Sealt. Closed down by Dewsbury Hall. Sealt turns him, plays it back inside to Job. Job now to Dan Neil. O'Nien pushing forwards, Neil passing the ball on to him, and he's flicked it out to Hjelde on the left, back to Aushish. Aushish inside to Job. Job into the middle, Hume. Hume lays it off to Sealt to his right, and out wide then to Chris Rigg. Rigg back inside to Sealt. Back it comes, Rigg chases back onto it, and will take it forwards a few yards to Job. Job back to Ballard. Across here to O'Nien. O'Nien now wide to Hjelde, and Hjelde trying to cut into the middle, laying the ball off into Ballard's feet in the centre circle. Ballard out wide to Sealt. Sealt inside, he's barged over by Mavididi. It's a free kick to Sunderland.
A lot better by Sunderland.
And they're going to make a change. Wilfred Ndidi's coming on, I think.
Ndidi, yeah.
For Leicester, Nigerian international midfielder.
You see that Sunderland are getting on top, that's why.
Yeah, that's the reason that suddenly Leicester have got to make changes, or a change now. Referee speaking to Steffi and
Mbidi.
Yeah, Mavididi. And Mavididi replaced by Ndidi. Ndidi Vidis everywhere. 71st minute. Out here to Neil on the left. Cutting inside again, inside the Leicester half. Swings the ball into the penalty area. Just too much for Hume. Stretched for it. But it's... it slipped away in front of him and gone behind for the goal kick. That was Hume. That was Hume. How Sheesh is over on the left. That gun's coming off.
Yeah, I thought he'd be coming off.
So the 71st minute, that change made by Leicester. On comes Wilfred Ndidi. Takes up position in a sort of fairly central midfield position. Ball tapped by Cody to Hermansen. Mundell goes to close him down. The Dane gets the ball clear down the right. Headed down by O'Nien to Neil. Forwards to Aushish. Got caught on the ankle by Chowdhury. Free kick to Sunderland. Now Sheesh going to take this just a yard or two in from the touchline on the left, halfway inside the Leicester City half. The referee saying put the ball out a bit closer to the touchline. And now Sheesh now steps back onto the touchline.
Good delivery. That's what you need.
And Aushish with his right curls
Good
this
ball.
in. It's a good ball in. There's appeals from behind the goal for a penalty for a foul on Ballard, who got the header, but it went going wide. Goalkeeper.
He just threw the ball out.
Threw the ball out. I don't know what he's doing. It's Mads. Ipswich 0, Bristol City 1. Helder crosses, crashes off Chowdhury. A corner to Sunderland. Aushish goes and collects the ball, wearing his gloves, comes back, and in fact they've given it must. I think it's the same thing as in the first half, wasn't it? Hume handled it. In this instance, Chowdhury handled it when it crashed against him, and it's a free kick to Sunderland on the left, halfway between the penalty area and the touchline. Two players left out in midfield. Hume up in the centre circle. Aushish again, as you said, it's got to be a good delivery in here for Sunderland. Aushish from the left, rolls it back to Dan Neil outside the penalty area, sets up Chris Rigg. Rigg takes it onto his left, tries a shot straight at the goalkeeper. And at least he was on target.
Yeah.
And we played 73 minutes. Sunderland 0, Leicester City 1. BBC Radio Newcastle. The kick from Hermansen. Up towards Doyle, who flicks it over the head of Sealt, still has it, turns, rolls it back behind him to Mavididi, looking for the run of Dewsbury Hall down the left of the penalty area, pulls it back here, and Fatawu had slipped and the ball went over the top of him and out for a throw to Sunderland on the left. Now Sheesh is going to leave this for Hjelde to take halfway inside the Sunderland half. Drops to Neil, back to Neil from Hjelde, back again to Patterson, out to Job. Job lays it off on the right to Ballard. Ballard coming forwards with this, and looking for Hume, who tried to sweep it out to Sealt, but it's off a Leicester player. It's out for a throw to Sunderland on the right, at the foot of the east stand, attacking the north end in this second half, and having a much better second half than they did the first. They actually played themselves back into the game after going one down, but didn't really threaten. Now they look to have more of a threat. Mundell's trying to dig this out, and he's been penalised for a foul on Cody. He picks himself up. This inside the Leicester half on the left, and it's tapped back to Hermansen, the goalkeeper. Taps it back out again to Cody on that left-hand side, and then forwards again down the left wing to Doyle, trying to get away through to Mavididi. He plays it all the way back to Cody in the Leicester half, in the centre circle, playing it now to Weiss. Weiss forced by Aushish to play it back to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper just puts his foot on the ball at the edge of the penalty area, plays it out to Dewsbury Hall. Back to Cody on the left-hand side.
There you go.
Forwards now to Doyle, who turns Rigg, but plays the ball right through to Ballard, who lays it off to Anthony Patterson. We're into the last quarter of an hour of the game. One goal between the two sides. It's Jamie Vardy's, who scored in the 13th minute for Leicester. Aushish sweeps one up as a chase for Hjelde. Chowdhury comes across in front of him, manages to get the ball to Fatawu, who plays it all the way back to the goalkeeper. Chowdhury's down hurt. He's trying to get up. The ball's played out to Cody, out into midfield to Winks. Joe closes down the goalkeeper. He lifts the ball over him. out to Feist on the right, trying to head it on. Hjelde heads it back. Dan Neil chases this. Dan Neil down the left of the penalty area, just keeps it in. He's got Chowdhury in front of him, Aushish behind him. Aushish now taking on Fatawu. Fatawu tackles him. The ball just kept in by the Ghanaian and played back out to Ndidi. And Ndidi flicks it back now to Chowdhury at the edge of the penalty area on the right-hand side. Ndidi back to Fatawu, who sends it right in the middle to Chris Rigg, who's trying to tee up Mundle. Mundle's just behind the D. Behind him is Rigg. Man on, cries the crowd. Rigg into the penalty area, tries a low ball in. Doyle blocks it, and then it's headed clear by Cody at the second attempt. Only as far on the far side as Hume. Hume trying to cut in, finds Job in the middle. Job now to Neil, and Neil rolling it out to Hjelde on the left. Back here to Aushish at the corner of the penalty area, trying to get in past Ndidi. Aushish lays it off to Hjelde. Hjelde now pulls it back here to Dan Neil. Neil plays it into the middle to Ballard. Ballard closed down by Dewsbury Hall. Then Chris Rigg loses, and Mavididi swings the ball back in, headed out by Fatawu. And Dan Ballard's going to try and end up on the end of this. He nods it down, slips it inside to Mundle, corner of the penalty area, trying to take it down the right, and then he fouls Doyle, not Doyle, Winks.
Yeah.
A free kick.
But it's a lot better, isn't it?
Much better. They're giving Leicester something to think about now, who are making another change. Iheanacho.
Yeah, Vardy.
So Vardy who scored the goal in the 13th minute, eventually coming off. Kelechi Iheanacho, a natural replacement. On he comes. Leicester leading 1-0.
Double substitution.
And the double substitution, yeah, for Sunderland. Styles and Rusin are going to come on.
No bar. I thought he did okay when he came on, Bar.
Yeah.
Saturday.
They must have method in their decision. As a ball, but Ndidi was cut out by 09. Neil out to Hjelde. Down the line to Aushish, back inside to Hjelde, but Fatawu comes back and takes it off Hjelde, plays it back to the goalkeeper. And he kicks it out down this right-hand side, a foot in from Neil around the shoulder of Ndidi. And now Chowdhury, a call for handball. The assistant didn't give anything. And 09 turns it back into Job's path. Dewsbury Hall is behind him. And back it goes to Patterson. Job bringing this out now. Laying it off to Neil. Neil just short of halfway, inside to Job, left of the centre circle, plays it back to Ballard. Ballard trying to get the ball worked down the right wing here for Sealt, back inside to Trey Hume. Hume now, Winks getting back, Hume pushing forwards. Hume looking to take a shot, palmed away by the goalkeeper, but nobody there for Sunderland to follow up. And it's played out only as far as Hjelde, and now Neil back into Aushish, back to Neil behind him, and now Job in the middle, looking to try and get Rigg in at the edge of the area. Then Hume's pulled down, surely. Free kick, Dewsbury Hall pulled him down. This free kick, 22 yards out, just right of centre.
I think we should play Trey Hume up front.
Well,
he's had two great strikes, hasn't he? Oh, he's had a great strike, two great strikes.
A couple of goes from Trey Hume, never scared to shoot from outside the penalty area.
Should be on the free kick.
And that's two saves. One onto the underside of the bar from Hume.
This is the sheesh.
And one parried. By Hermanson away. 2 substitutes waiting to come on still. Sheesh is going to have a go with this free kick.
You've got to work the goalkeeper, missed the wall.
He's 23 yards out at least, if not 24. And we've got a draft excluder. And he's hoping that nobody's going to jump on him, I think. As Sheesh with the free kick. He tried to get it to dip, but it's gone over. Ipswich won, Bristol City won. And so the substitution's being made. Riggs coming on off for Rusin. He's worked his socks off this afternoon. Certainly a first league start to remember for Rigg. And Job is the other player coming off. Styles coming on. Hull 1, Birmingham 1. Hull are the opponents for Leicester at Hull on Saturday. Leicester leading 1-0. We're in the 82nd minute. And Chris Rigg, who's walking off round the pitch here, is applauding the fans who are applauding him. The 16-year-old has not done a lot wrong tonight. He's done a lot right, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Batawu on the right here now for Leicester, trying to slip the ball through to Ndidi, wrestling with Hjeldup, who gets the ball away, looking for Rusin, but cutting in to get it back for Leicester is Winks. Plays it in the middle to Cody as Chris Rigg reaches the dugout, and he applauds the Rokren and shakes the hands of Mike Dods, who slaps him on the back. And the ball out wide to Hume, up to Rusin, laying it off behind to Styles, stabs it back to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien now at the edge of the centre circle, just plays it to his right to Sealt. Sealt back to O'Nien. O'Nien out to Hjelder on the left hand side, in his own half still, back to Luke O'Nien, and O'Nien across to Ballard, forwards to Styles. Styles, Iheanacho got a foot to it. It comes back through the middle to Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall still going, slipping a ball into Mavadidi, but sliding back to put it behind was Ballard.
Well done.
And a corner on the left for Leicester. Well, I don't think it is 40,293, do you? Tonight. As Simon Pride mentioned earlier on, they include the season card
season cards
in that, but there's not 41,000 here tonight, or 40,000 here tonight. It's still a healthy crowd, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of empty seats as well. Here come Leicester, forwards through Dewsbury Hall on the left of central midfield. They lead 1-0. Here's Ndidi, closed down by O'Nien. Back to Chowdhury on halfway, and then a foul by Sealt on Dewsbury Hall. Free kick just inside the Sunderland half for Leicester. It'll be taken by Doyle, looking for the run of Iheanacho. He's trying to get past Ballard, who stabs it away, only as far as Mavadidi. He plays it back now to Winks. Winks inside to Chowdhury. Chowdhury closed down, gets it through to Iheanacho at the edge of the area, or just outside. And then down the left again, played back inside to the Nigerian international striker, and then won back by Mundle. He survives an attempt to trip him, and he gets the ball out now to Rusin, wide on the right wing. Rusin's trying to get forwards, and he's having to tackle and get away from Chowdhury, who fouls him.
Well done, Rusin. Well
and
done.
A free kick to Sunderland, wide on the right. Halfway inside the Leicester half.
Another substitution.
Yeah, and this is going to be...
Is it?
It's, James Justin, who scored the only goal of the game at Leicester.
Yeah, they're just going to show things up, aren't they?
He's coming on for Fatawu. And we're in the 86th minute. So Leicester now won't be able to bring anybody else on. They've made 3 substitutions at 3 different times in the second half. So now the players that they have out there with 4 minutes left to play have to see this out. I mean, I'm not saying this is by any stretch of the imagination a difficult thing to do, but if Sunderland were to score now, as the ball's whipped in by Ashish, out to Dan Neil, another block from his shot, and a possible break here for Dewsbury Hall down the left wing. Mavadidi, I think, lost his legs here. He's given up running, and Hume is trying. Oh, Ashish tackled him, but the ball comes back here, and the whistles blow.
Yeah.
Now, what's
he saying here?
The referee? I think he's stopped the play because he's concerned about the ball. Actually, there was no free kick. It's going to be a drop ball, and referee Winks is wandering around with his arms actually and wondering what's going on. Much like the rest of us. It's dropped to Harry Winks, it's played out to Mavadidi on the right, left, and back to Winks. And Mavadidi trying to get the ball down to Winks and getting it back again, but one back by Hume. And now Mavadidi's gone over on the far side, and the referee's given the free kick. Now Hume was the player who fouled him.
Mavadidi, I tell you what,
he goes down all the time, doesn't he?
Well, one thing's for sure, the groundsman won't need a roller. He's been on
was Mavadidi the draft excluder by any chance? Straight up onto his feet. So free kick to Leicester, 88th minute. Dewsbury Hall back out to the left, and Cody being forced back by Styles slips the ball inside to Justin, who's got one England cap. It was against Hungary in 2022. One wonders if he played up against Callum Styles in that game in the Nations League. Ball comes back to Hermansen. High ball played up, which Hjelde will head away. Chowdhury runs onto it, blasts through the centre here, but in dives Silt, and the ball breaks to Ashish on the left. Back to Dan Neil. Neil out again to Ashish on this left-hand side, and Didi coming down in front of him, but he's slipped the ball up through to Rusin down the left of the penalty area. He pulls it back here to Dan Neil on the left. Neil back to Styles at the edge of the area. Styles lays it off to Neil again. Back to Styles, who caught by surprise, gets onto it, pulls it back here. Ashish trying to dig it out, and it's blocked and goes behind for a corner.
Much better movement as well, Nick, up front.
89th minute. Oh, it's not
Chowdhury.
Mavadidi, or was it Chowdhury?
No,
Chowdhury's down now.
You know, the thing is, he went down just outside the box.
Oh, he gets back up on his feet.
Gets back up.
Trey Hume has a word, then runs back up towards the centre circle. Patterson's in the centre circle. The corner whipped in by Ashish, headed high in the air by Ndidi. There's a bit of a scrum at the edge of the 6-yard box. It breaks out to Dewsbury Hall on the left. Mundle goes with him. Dewsbury Hall happy just to smash it back up into the Sunderland half. We're about to enter the final minute of the 90. That's it, 89 minutes played. 1-0 to Leicester. O'Nien nods the ball down to Hjelde. Was he fouled by Ndidi? Yes, he was. Free kick on the left here, just outside the penalty area, and a yellow card for Ndidi for the foul. The ref shows him the card. There will be time added on, of course. Will Sunderland get another opportunity? Ashish over the ball. The referee on his shoulder. 2 in the Leicester wall.
Good ball in.
Styles on his shoulder. It's going to be Ashish who's going to take the free kick. I think he's going to have a go.
He is. I think he is as well.
I think he's going to try and find the top corner. Now Ashish then drives this in with his right. Oh, it comes off a defender and it's palmed away and behind for a corner.
Good effort.
Now Ashish's free kick almost. There'll be 4 minutes added on. So will they get another opportunity? Ashish's corner, headed away by Feist. Got his head on that, out to Styles, swings it back in again. Up go the heads, and it comes back down here, edge of the area. There's a scramble, pinball, it's blocked. It comes back to the right, put back in. Ballard trying to head it at the goalkeeper, who sprawls across this line, his 6-yard box, and makes a save. So now another Leicester player down.
You've got to say, Nick, it's 100% better in this second half.
Much better.
You know, they've had to go a bit more belief. They've worked the goalkeeper. There's better movement up front.
Still time for just under 4 minutes left. They're working Hermansen, they're working Leicester's defenders in this second half. Ball drops on the head of Fjelde up to the halfway line. Silt trying to dig it out, but won back by Winks. In a battle again with Dan Neil. Styles picks up the loose ball, comes back to Fjelde. Fjelde looking for the run of Rusin, headed away by Feist, out to Chowdhury on the right. He manages somehow to knock the ball out, and now Sheesh at the same time, who's off the pitch, picks himself up quickly. Fjelde takes the throw. Neil plays it back to O'Nien, across then to Hume. Hume just shy of halfway, swings the ball up towards Rusin, gets his head on it. Chowdhury just smashes it away. A chase for Mavadidi. He won't make it. It goes out for a throw to Sunderland just inside the Leicester half. We've got 3 minutes left. It's Gateshead 2, Solihull Moors 3. Hume puts the ball up towards Ballard, who stayed up. Heads it down, looking for Mundle. The flag is up on the far side for offside. Free kick to Leicester. All the chances in this second half have been from Sunderland, but they haven't been able to score. And just as it was at Leicester, isn't it? They had chance after chance. Really battled it. Couldn't get in the penalty area. Couldn't get a goal. And Leicester hung on for a 1-0 win.
Yeah, Ballard's staying up top, isn't he?
Ballard's up on the halfway line for this kick from Hermansen. It goes out again. Throw to Fjelde. Gets back to O'Nien. Plays it across to Patterson. Closed down by Mavadidi, but he gets the ball up over halfway. Rusin gets under it, looking for Mundle on the right wing. Doyle's with him. Mundle brings it down, cuts into the centre, manages to knock it away for Mavadidi, plays it out to the left. Fjelde slips slightly, recovers and gets on the ball, and now he's going to try and play it back into the centre to O'Nien on the halfway line. Plays it across to Hume. Hume just in the Leicester half, back to O'Nien. O'Nien now chasing down this left-hand side. Was he fouled? The ball played through though, and it's going to be picked up by Justin. Played back to the goalkeeper, who kicks it right back up towards Mavadidi, who lays it off to Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall breaks wide now on the left-hand side in the Sunderland half. And then he's tackled well by Rusin. Rusin, Mavadidi blocks him. The ball stays in, no free kick. Styles picks it up, finds Neil. Dan Neil now in the 94th minute, pushing it on down the right to Aushish. Aushish cutting inside, rolling it through, it's cut out. Will it fall back to Aushish? It does. Aushish now trying to slip it through to Ballard. Was he pushed? The referee says no. Ballard was in on goal and he thinks he was pushed, but the referee says no.
Tell you what, that's a close one. You'll have to see that again because he's got in front of him.
Did he go down too easily?
That's what he might be saying. Has he gone down too easy?
He was through on goal.
Good play again by Ashish.
He seemed, I mean, he went down as though he'd been bulldozed. Did the referee feel it was too theatric and now blows? He hasn't even, well, I'm not sure. Leicester win 1-0, but not through a lack of effort from Sunderland in the second half.
Yeah, a much better display in that second half. Had a little bit more belief, they pressed higher up the field, moved the ball a little bit quicker. And you've got to say, you know, they caused them one or two, well, they did cause them problems.
Brave to change it in the second half the way he did. I mean, you could argue brave to start with Amir in the first place, but, you know, give him his due. He did try to have a go in the first half, but the sucker blow was that Jamie Vardy goal after 13 minutes. We said at the start, whoever scored first was going to set the agenda for the game, and Leicester scoring first meant it was theirs to hold on to. They were looking for a second to finish it off. Sunderland changed things round in the second half, bringing on Aushish, bringing on Mundle, and it certainly made a difference. It certainly got Sunderland up into the Leicester faces, into their penalty area, as the referee is booed off as he walks off after that last-minute penalty incident.
But again, you know, the difference was, Nick, we had people who was willing to run, you know, get behind Leicester's defence. In the first half, we didn't have that. You know, you look at the substitutions that come on, and, you know, they made an impact. You know, you talk about Mundle, you talk about Ashish who came on. I thought Chris Rigg did well today, as well tonight, sorry. You know, but again, it's all about, you know, are you willing to run behind? Are you willing to make yourself available?
Does it bode well for Southampton at the weekend?
Well, again, it's all about what does he start with. You know, you can't start the way we did. You know, we look at, you know, the last couple of games, you know, Norwich, you know, it weren't until the last 20-25 minutes we come to life. You look at this game, the first half, you've got to say that Leicester dominated the game, but in the second half, we got the hold of it. He made a few tweaks. Mike Dods had a word with him at half-time. We came out and we made a game of it.
If they play with that spirit, play with those changes, play with the ability to make those changes going down the line in the next 10 games, they will get a win. They will win somewhere.
But you've got to, you know, the way we played in the second half, you've got to start the game that way. You know, I think sometimes you look at the first half, the amount of times we came back on ourselves, you know, there was no tempo to the game for us.
Well, it's food for thought, certainly food for some optimism now from a Sunderland point of view. But tonight they have gone down to the league leaders. It's finished Sunderland 0, Leicester City 1.
BBC Sounds has a brand new area dedicated to the North East. From local stories to sport, news to stuff you've just not discovered yet. Sign in to your BBC account to access it all. You never know what you might uncover. Get more sounds from the North East. Listen on BBC Sounds.
And this is Simon Pride at the Stadium of Light, where Sunderland have been beaten this evening. If you'd like to have your say on the game with the former Sunderland centre-half and skipper Gary Bennett, you've got time. If you want to send us a message between now and 10 o'clock, we'll try and read it out. 0800 08000 321 333 is the number to send a WhatsApp message, and you can send a text to 81333. In either case, start your message with the letters BBC, and Benno will respond to whatever point you would like to make. Sunderland making a good fist of it in that second half, but they were unable to get back on level terms. Jamie Vardy with the only goal of the game. Early in the game it was as well. A header which ultimately separated the two sides. Plenty of other games taking place in the Championship this evening, so let me run you through some of them, which the full-time whistles have blown in, others are still ongoing. Blackburn Rovers 1, Millwall 1 is a full-time score. Sammy Smodics equalising for the home side after Obafemi had put the visitors ahead. Coventry have put Pup 5 past Rotherham United. Ellis Sims, formerly of Sunderland, of course, on loan here, scored a hat-trick in the first 37 minutes. Latabaudiere and Tavares Desiderio with the other goals for Coventry City. Hull 1, Birmingham City 1, Tufan for Hull City, Jukovic for Birmingham with just 8 minutes left, and that one is over as well, 1-1. Deep into injury time at Leeds United, and Daniel James' goal separates Leeds from Stoke City as things stand, so 1-0 to Leeds there. Sheffield Wednesday have beaten Plymouth by 1-0. Gassama with the goal there. And Ipswich Bristol City was an 8 o'clock kickoff. Quite a game as well. Bristol City have taken the lead twice, and Ipswich
cheers,
have
guys,
pegged
for
them back
tuning in,
twice
everyone.
as well. Al-Hamadi and Chaplin for the home side, Mehmeti and Conway
I don't think that was
for
a
Bristol
penalty at
City.
the end of it. I really
no
don't.
doubt pushing for a late winner in that match to keep the pressure on Leicester City at the top of the Championship. In League 1, Barnsley 2, Bolton Wanderers 1, Cheltenham 1, Charlton Athletic 3, Peterborough have beaten Northampton Town by 5 goals to 1. AFC Wimbledon 0, Grimsby Town 0 in League 2, Barrow 2, Gillingham 0, Bradford City 1, Doncaster Rovers 1. It's finished Mansfield Town 1, Milton Keynes Dons 2, and Morecambe